Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There are strong language and adult themes. Also, if you're not careful, you may learn a little bit of history tonight.
Not much.
Not much, just a little bit. But yes, today is George Washington Carver Day.
Why?
Because he invented a whole lot of stuff and really did a lot of things that, really helped agriculture worldwide.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Yes, he invented
Why
a bunch
did
of
you do
stuff.
it?
Why did you do that kind of stuff?
Yeah, why not? Bored, gotta do
Well,
something.
it would be because in the South, the primary crop was cotton, of course, and they picked a lot of cotton and planted a lot of cotton. And cotton is a very nice little plant that provides all kinds of good things that we use. It's kind of sticky when you try to pick it, but
It's not that bad in my pick it.
It really sucks the nitrogen out of the soil.
Yes.
So somebody had to figure out why that happens and how to stop it. And he kind of was one of the people who was pretty early in the concept of crop rotation, primarily with soybeans as one of the options. There were others, and I see this every year right here by my house, where one year a field is corn and the next year it is soybeans, and they flip flop every year.
Oh, yeah.
Crop
Yep, you
rotation
see that driving
can be
all over Minnesota.
Yeah, crop rotation can be useful, but it's not as necessary as people make it out to be.
Not anymore. Not that we have the new nitrogen processes.
No, it's not even that.
How do you
Let's
mean?
just take a quick look to the side chat there. I see we got Bub and Junie, who should both be in here, and Beck and Doc. Yeah, pretty much everybody in the side chat should be here.
Well,
Doc Fearsome,
we
Angie.
won't have an audience.
That's okay. I would rather have a group participation thing.
We can do that after the show.
So anyway,
What, you want me to participate?
Yes, we gotta participate. Anyway, if you keep a good soil life, if you don't really need to do crop rotation, and to maintain the nitrogen and other minerals and stuff that you need in the soil, the bacteria and other things will maintain that for you.
Really? Okay. I was to understand that legumes were especially good at returning nitrogen to the soil.
Yeah, they can be. There are plenty. There are plenty
fixes.
Yeah, there are plenty of plants that will return your nitrogen to the soil. Actually, even that's more of a bacterial thing, but pulling nitrogen then in through the air and then using the bacteria to convert it. Yeah, that happens.
And what ways are there of replacing the nitrogen that has been sucked up by heavy users?
Well, like I said,
artificial fertilizers though give the soil a hell of a lot more nitrogen than like planting nitrogen fixing plants does though.
No, actually, it's really about the same. The thing with adding fertilizers to soil, is that you can actually kill the soil life that produces all those things for you. So you end up getting into this process of having to continually use fertilizers if you do that, which is what happens with a lot of our commercial growers.
Well, then I ask, if you're going to spend a bunch of money on fertilizers and stuff, and put chemicals into the soil, why wouldn't you want to do soybeans and at least have something that you can market afterwards?
Because you can get more growth from more cash crops, more sort of like profitable crops.
Soybeans are like the largest cash crop on the planet.
Yeah, a lot of these places will usually do monocropping, so they ends up taking up. That's where you end up getting a lot of the things that just take up everything. So you leave the area deprived that way. But it makes sense to do it.
I'm not saying that adding fertilizer is a good idea, by the way. I'm just saying that it's what people have chosen to do because it gives them a lot more crop for a lot. That they can get a lot more money,
Well,
even if it does damage the soil.
No, it's an instant fix. I mean, to the plant, it doesn't matter whether it's artificial or natural. It's
Yeah.
nitrogen is nitrogen.
Well, and for the farmer, they have to, be trying to guess when they plant the crops that, at the time of harvest, which crop is going to be worth the most.
Yeah.
Another plant that can be used to help restore nitrogen is the peanut plant, which is kind of like where he got his reputation for the most part, because Americans usually can't think of more than one thing to remember somebody by.
Which is actually misapplied, which we were mentioning just before we started. He didn't actually invent peanut butter.
I didn't say peanut butter. I said peanuts.
He didn't invent peanut butter, but he did invent a number of other things related to peanuts.
He basically established the peanut business in the South.
Yeah, he did publish how to grow peanuts.
Yep. And in 1906, he designed what he called his Jessup wagon, which was a mobile laboratory for educating farmers, that he could go out to the farms and do demonstrations for them.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's a neat one.
So looking at it here, it looks like you'd be better associated with sweet potatoes than peanuts.
Soup potatoes?
Sweet potatoes.
Oh,
yes.
sweet potatoes. Yes, sweet potatoes.
Yeah, he also did a lot for promoting growing sweet potatoes.
I love
Which
sweet potatoes.
I must agree with. They are a fine crop to grow if you're in warm weather.
Sweet potatoes or yams?
Okay.
Well,
this
they're
doesn't
different.
give me an actual list, but it does say that he created more than 300 products from peanuts. So that's as Meg was saying, that he created a market for peanuts.
Did he create those packing peanuts as well?
Well, if he had, I would have shot him a long time ago.
Thankfully, he's dead, so he doesn't have to suffer your wrath.
He apparently created 5 library pastes.
Did you say library paste?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's library paste.
See, that's rather tasty.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. What school kid hasn't eaten paste?
Oh, so like clag, like school kid paste.
Liquid adhesive made from wheat flour and starch, and water.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, that sounds like what clag could be. Clag's a very common kid-safe glue that's used in a lot of schools, or at least it was when I was a kid.
Yep.
Though I may be interested in trying out some of his molasses recipe used for sweet potatoes.
I was about to point that one out, that was one of the things he came up with the sweet potatoes, was that they could make molasses from it. Because sugar, of course, in any form has always been a very profitable crop.
Yep.
Did you know that when he was a young person, he had some kind of sickness thing, and it hurt him physically for his future, and altered his vocal cords and things, and so he spoke the rest of his life with a real squeaky kind of voice.
Oh,
I did not know that.
How about that? Purple's shaking her head right now, going, I just was going to do Carver for like 2 minutes. You know?
No. This is good. This is good.
You didn't know we'd do homework, did ya?
I didn't expect you to do your homework. No, I didn't. But actually, as far as I thought that he had a mild case of polio as a child. So that may be what you were referring to that affected his voice.
His connection with polio was creating some kind of medicine thing that, oh God, what would it do? Oh, he was experimenting using some particular peanut-based oils, and things that he used them as massage oils, and he believed that if you would massage these things into the spoiled limbs of the diseased children, that it would help bring them back to a certain amount of functionality. And it did, except they found later that it wasn't the oil, it was just the massage.
Ah,
Sounds plausible. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was thinking that, reading that.
I was just about to ask how did they know it was the whatever it was rubbing in was the causative thing, and yeah, turns out you just said it wasn't.
Yeah, apparently he died falling down a flight of stairs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
He was found unconscious by a maid, took him to the hospital, and due to complications, he died.
Well, he was still pretty damn old. He died, 43 and was
79.
In 1879?
He died he was 79 years old when he died.
Oh.
that's a good age these days, let alone back then.
Mm.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I had to find my booger paper.
Yep. And he was, noted many times for his lack of an ego, that for all he accomplished, he remained a very humble man and was concerned with helping the people who were lowest down.
Oh, that's good. It's a nice change for a public person.
When I was reading stuff about him, I expected to find, in lots of stories of incidents and stuff where he was harassed for being black and that sort of thing. And, there may very well have been bunches of them, but it's not something that people focused on or had written up at all, which I found was interesting because I certainly read a lot of racial strife with black scientists in other fields in similar times.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he was just really well liked.
Yeah.
Or just really lucky.
Yeah, well, that could be too.
Well, and actually a big part of his drive is he was trying to get smaller farmers away from growing cotton, mostly because of, how badly it deteriorated the soil. Because, they couldn't consistently get a good crop year after year that way. So what he described as the guys who had the one-horse farm, that, they couldn't grow cotton year after year and expect to make a living. So he was trying to find them some other crops that they could grow that would consistently sell at a decent price and allow them to be self-sufficient in producing their own food as well.
I may have to play around with growing cotton.
Angie, I agree with you 100% on that one.
Gravity is a myth. The Earth sucks.
And he died falling down a flight of steps, huh?
Yep.
Well, I guess that's where what's her name? That first wife of Trump's, Ivanka, I forget which is which. Ivanka or whatever. The one that's buried,
his daughter.
The one that's buried in the golf course. She fell down the steps too, or at least that's what they say. I wonder where she got the idea from him.
Come on. We all know it was a conspiracy. He was pushed because the big farmers.
Q pushed her down the steps.
Well, I've made an interesting discovery myself tonight. Apparently, even if you're not sick, it's possible to drink ginger ale without any alcohol in it.
Yeah, ginger ale is really good.
I prefer sarsaparilla.
I've been thinking about making my own since I've been growing ginger.
That would be very cool.
With the movement of artisanal soda makers that's gone on, a couple companies have come out with some really impressive ginger soda. It's just very heavy on the ginger taste, and it's just excellent.
Actually, what's been a cool thing that I've seen popping up in some fast food places is that they have machines that are kind of like soda fountains, because they'll like put extra flavorings in, so then you can get ginger ale with like lime or cherry flavor added.
I'd rather get lime.
Apparently, it's a new machine the Coca-Cola company's been putting into some fast food places.
I'd rather get some lime juice that I can put a little gin in.
The best ginger beer I've had was the Cock and Bull brand.
I don't think I've ever seen that brand.
It's probably regional. I've never heard of it either. Which is fine. I'm sure it's perfectly good stuff.
It's great stuff. I got my aunt and uncle hooked on the stuff, and then they took them out of the stores around here. So now it's really hard to find.
Yeah. I've been finding it hard to find actual ginger beer here rather than ginger ale. I like the Stewart's brand. It had a good bite to it. But I don't know. Maybe the bigger stores in Minneapolis might have it, but I can't find it anywhere around here.
I grow a lot of things. I just ordered a bunch of seeds too.
Oh, what kind of seeds? What are you planning on planting?
A different burgundy okra, another type of amaranth that's like orange, and yard-long beans, and loofah. What else did I order? I think
Did you say loofah?
Yeah.
Try some Roma beans.
If I can find them.
So are you going to grow the gourds and make sponges?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I've never grown them before, so
that'd be really cool. I'd be interested in watching how you do that.
I have seen how-to instructions on the internet about it.
Are they what loofahs are made from that you like rub your body with?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Or somebody else's,
Yep, it comes from that plant, the loofah gourd.
Yeah.
I, some stupid reason, just thought it was some sort of artificial plastic thing with a made-up name. I didn't realize it came from a plant.
Yeah. In fact, if you pick it early, it's edible.
Yep.
What's it taste like?
Never had one before.
Tastes kind of like a sponge, I think. But
tastes like someone's dead skin and feet.
Well, it gets spongy later on as it grows, but
it was taste like dried skin and soap.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you mean
dried skin and toe jam.
Oh God, what's that goddamn? I hate losing it right in the middle of the important punchline. Not parsley, but it tastes like
rosemary and thyme.
No. The thing that everybody says, half the people say it tastes like soap, and the other half love it.
Oh, cilantro.
Yeah, cilantro.
Yeah. Or there's another name for it too.
Yeah, soap.
Yeah.
Dove.
Me too. I'm one of the people that tastes like soap, and it's like Sloth Girl loves the cilantro rice from Chipotle, and it's like every time I have it, before I knew about the cilantro tasting like soap thing, I always thought they just weren't rinsing the dishes properly.
Me too. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
But the other name you were probably thinking of was coriander.
Yeah, that's the name that I'm more used to it being pronounced as.
That coriander doesn't have the same effect, though. It doesn't have the soap taste to me. I wonder why that'd be.
Or maybe there are multiple things called coriander.
I don't know.
Nope, it's Coriandrum sativum.
Yep, and since I think it was before we went live, I just wanted to remark my avatar there that Bree had done herself as the little wasp creature there, and I had commented on that on Twitter. So then she came back and she did this for me. So it's like a Triceratops is Iron Man.
Iron
Oh, I was
Tops.
going to ask if it was a transformer.
No, actually, I did have a Transformer one from before, but that project never quite got completed.
I think that's based on that Transformer one by the looks of it.
Well, actually, Bree had done the orange robot dinosaur in her intro, and didn't realize that I'd had the Transformer one. So it's based on the robot one in Bree's intro.
Anyways, back to the cilantro. When it was, it suddenly just appeared on the scene, a couple few years back. And I realized I was one of the people that hated it and all that kind of stuff. And I asked a few people who liked it, who liked cilantro in their whatever, what does it taste like? And it sounds like it would be really interesting if it didn't taste like soap. But they said it's kind of a citrusy, bright kind of taste, and freshness, tastes like freshness and something like that. It sounds like it would be really nice.
It's okay. It doesn't taste like soap for me, but
Okay.
I grew some slow bolt with cilantro once, and honestly, I just didn't really find much use for it, so I haven't really grown it again.
What about Junie's comment that it's hard to keep alive when you're growing it?
Depends on where you're growing it.
Based on where Junie lives, I'm expecting this may have been like an indoor herb garden.
Shouldn't be that hard to grow indoors.
Stool, do they say it tastes like soap? There's a certain number of people who also have a minority reaction to broccoli and some other cruciferous veggies, that they find them to be extremely bitter.
Deformed mutants.
And they also think it's just a genetic thing.
Yeah, now I don't have that. I love broccoli.
Yeah, me too. It's great.
I had broccoli last night from my garden. I steamed it up in my little egg cooker.
Broccoli and cauliflower,
I like,
as well as sweet potato, are probably my favorite veggies.
I like broccoli tops on an omelet.
Yeah. Cauliflower and broccoli are both brassicas.
All mustard family.
Yeah, that's brassica. Mustard.
Yeah.
Broccoli, cauliflower, kale. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few off the top of my head here.
Brussels sprouts.
Now, there's lots and lots and lots of different mustards, like hundreds of different mustards. Are they coming from a separate species of mustard, or is it just things that they grind up and call it something like a mustard?
All the brassicas come from the same plant.
Okay, so all mustards are brassicas?
Yeah, they've just been cultivated in different ways.
So the only thing that can be mustard is a brassica species plant.
Okay, I had wondered about that, about the difference between the yellow and the brown mustards.
I grow a red one.
Well, see, now that
Red, wow.
How can that be the same product as yellow mustard or Grey Poupon?
Because plant varieties have a lot more. I mean, plants have a lot more variation, don't they, than animals? And
Yep.
so the same species, because don't they tend to have lots more chromosomes? And so the same species can have far more variety.
I'm not really sure.
Well, me neither.
Like
I mean,
there's a technical word for it, I can't remember. It's polyploid. I think that's it. And I think that's like he got diploid. That's 2 parts of a chromosome, two chromosomes per Or-
Yeah, I'm not sure the the technical term for it, but like a strawberry has like 6 copies of every chromosome.
Yeah, that'd be polyploid. I'll just check. And there's also single ploid, but I can't remember what it is. Yeah. Polyploidy is a condition where the cells of an organism have more than one pair of homologous chromosomes. Most species are diploid.
Ha ha! I warned you about the history, but now you're learning botany as well.
And gametes are haploid because they don't have a pair, they just have the singular one. Or monoploid, I think.
Yeah, I've been meaning to get into plant evolution.
Plant evolution is going to be fucking complicated, I reckon.
Pork and sauerkraut is nummy, especially if it's like ham hocks. Ham hocks and sauerkraut.
It is a bit different from dealing with animals because of how they can crossbreed and whatnot.
And the sex is way different because they don't have the right genitals.
Yeah, the reproduction can be quite different too, yes.
Yeah, I grew
Wait
up
a minute.
eating a lot.
You're eating genitals?
Ever eat a flower?
Well, you are if you're eating broccoli and cauliflower because they're flowers of
Yes,
brassica.
Oh my
this is
God.
true. This is true.
Well, it isn't any type of fruit just a matured flower.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I suppose it's kind of like eating the end. No, it's like eating embryos, I'd say.
Yeah. Well,
So
that's where the seeds are stored, so it'd be.
if you pull an apple off a tree before it's ready to drop, then you're eating an abortion, which is probably not the most tasteful thing to say without censoring myself.
Okay, now so we eat chicken eggs and duck eggs and geese eggs. Do you know anybody who's you're in Australia? Do you know anybody who's
Yeah.
ever had platypus eggs?
No, I don't know that. I've never heard of platypus eggs being eaten.
I'm pretty sure if
Or,
they caught anybody doing it, they'd be arrested.
Yeah, because
probably.
they're endangered species, same as echidnas, I think.
And what would it be like to have a robin's egg? You know, they're just those little bitty things. You could have a omelet about the size of a quarter. Well, maybe $50. It's ostrich eggs. I don't know if they eat the yolk of the ostrich egg and stuff. I just don't know.
I have heard of some places that farm ostriches and sell the eggs.
Oh, this is
They make
interesting.
huge, what are they called? Omelets.
Yeah, I believe they said that for the ostriches, one egg makes an omelet for like 6 people.
Platypus,
I'd like to have an ostrich egg over easy.
the platypus and the echidna are the only 2 mammals known to lay eggs. There are 2 types of eggs which are definitely not suitable for eating.
Oh.
So they're not edible. Interesting.
I wonder what makes them unsuitable.
Yeah, I'm wondering too.
Unsuitable does not mean inedible.
Yeah.
Platypus and what else?
Echidna.
Echidna.
They're both monotremes.
Yeah, they're the only 2 living monotremes.
What's a echidna?
It looks kind of like a hedgehog. It's
Except it's got a long snout for anteating.
You're echidna me.
Yep.
Oh,
But also, the monotremes branched off from other mammals so early that in a lot of ways,
before marsupials.
yeah, in a lot of ways, the platypus has more in common with reptiles than it does with other mammals. Like the structure of its eyes are actually much more like a reptile's eye.
Monotremes are kind of half reptile, half mammal.
See, now you're freaking
although
me out.
that's
Yeah,
not
well,
accurate.
Well,
If-
and that's why a platypus eggs are very much like a turtle's egg.
Yeah, now you're freaking me out. If
Doesn't
they
make
can
sense.
be like lizard eyes, that means lizard people could exist. Oh man.
Oh, they're running the government. Don't you know that already?
I'm freaking out here.
Don't worry, they've got us all brainwashed. You've got nothing to worry about. Follow the program.
Sweet.
I suppose if you can eat ostrich eggs, you could also eat emu.
Emu.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, they're eaten.
Notosaurians.
There are actually a couple of farms that raise emu here in Minnesota.
In fact, the place I go to get my chicken feed has emus.
Emu eggs are good to make like carve stuff with because of their color.
See, we've become an educational channel here.
Emu eggs color is it's either dark blue or dark green. I can't remember.
That's what?
Oh, they have a very nice color.
Hmm.
Oh, are you going to put it on screen?
Yeah, let's see if I can get one on here. Let's see. That. Oh, come on. Give me a good picture. Try this again.
Maybe that's what that whole Dr. Seuss book was about, not liking green eggs.
Not liking emu eggs.
Green eggs are fun. Just like 2 drops of green food coloring is all you need.
Yes, don't let Stool hear you say emu.
That's okay because I say emu.
Let's see. Web browser.
And we have a porpoise, which is a mammal but does not lay eggs.
Most
No,
mam-
Are you
but
sure?
just eat eggs.
most mammals don't lay eggs.
Yes, but we were
Not
discussing
much, right?
birds that do lay eggs.
I think there
Oh,
are.
those are pretty. What are those again?
Those are the emu eggs. Emu.
And a chicken egg, I assume.
Yeah, it's a chicken egg for comparison.
How does
And if
the emu write that number on it?
It's probably
Uh,
written on
the-
after it's been.
birds are very intelligent.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No,
Well,
I
birds
figured
are-
that. I figured the
one-
emu had to keep track of what they had named each one. So
Once you scrape off that dark colouring on the outside, it's white underneath, so you get a nice contrast with carvings.
No, it's
It's E with-
EMEOW. Mew.
It's pronounced EMYO,
Yeah, that's a jam.
no U.
emu.
Emu,
Mew.
more mu.
Mew.
But yeah, that mu's how you pronounce the last bit of the name. Dark green, beautiful. There's a bit of blue in that green, so that's probably why I got it confused in my memory.
I wonder what makes them so dark. I assume they're that color because it helps camouflage them where they're laid.
I doubt it because Australia's a pretty dry place and it's not that. There are long periods where the grass is looks like
Maybe they're
ripe wheat.
maybe they're laid in a emerald field where they grow emeralds.
Maybe they eat emeralds and that's why we can't dig any up in Australia. Yep, that
Maybe.
how Stool's pronouncing emu is correct.
Well, I do keep hearing people refer to Australia as Oz, so maybe they live by the Emerald City.
Someone was going to make a reference. And someone beat me to it. Hi, Athena. Do you want to come up? I need to get you a new toy, right?
But chicken eggs come in quite a variety of colors too.
Wow. Oh, you can make a cool like pixel display with that.
Yeah, my sister
Like-
keeps some chickens, and most of hers lay the brownish eggs. But somebody had gave her a couple of chickens that laid ones that were like blue and green.
Yeah, mine lay more of the sort of the bluish green color or side.
Well, I have heard that the reason Canada doesn't have any anger and that they're always so polite is once a year they get together and do a ritual where they transfer all their anger into the geese.
Hey,
That
I
makes sense.
started that.
You're the first one who transferred your anger into geese, and the Canadians copied you.
No. I started that myth about the Canadians transferring it all into the geese about 4 years ago.
But is it a myth or is it real?
Hey, it fits. It explains why Canadians are polite and why their geese are assholes.
But all geese are. I don't know. Maybe some geese are nice, but I thought geese were generally just mean.
Yeah, they generally are. I've dealt with your standard farm geese, and they don't seem to be any better.
You don't want to run from a goose.
You don't want to turn your back on one either.
No, you don't want to do that.
Hey, Athena, coming up.
I got goosed by a goose.
Do we know why they're
Fluffy
so?
bastard bit me in the ass while I was just trying to walk away.
You just grab them by the head and give them a quick spin, and it's over with.
Does anyone know why they're assholes?
Well, I don't know.
Compared
If I knew that people were going to kill me for dinner, I think I'd be an asshole too.
I think it just saves time, to be honest. I mean, how many people seem to be nice people until you get to know them a little bit?
Oh gosh, Junie, wouldn't that be great? We'll take this picture, print it up, and then pass it around to some of the Trumpians and stuff, and tell them that California developed a gay chickens.
Oh, that would be
That'd be
fabulous.
great.
Yes, let's do it. Let's convince the MAGA first folks that we're turning the chickens gay.
Yes, absolutely. And be careful not to eat one. Oh, let's do it. Let's do it.
These eggs are full of soy.
Hey, Skits, I left you a link on Discord.
Hey, Skitsy. Gay chickens. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. We got to do that.
That sounds great. Yeah, we're going to have to start doing that on Twitter. Mate, can you, post this picture in my Twitter group then so we've all got it?
I'll put the link in.
Jer, creamy or chunky? Actually, that's a question for everybody. Creamy or chunky?
I prefer creamy.
I prefer crumbly.
I would prefer creamy, but in general, peanut butter just doesn't agree with me, so I usually avoid it.
Oh, when it comes to peanut butter, I prefer smooth.
Yeah.
I
So
like crunchy.
We call it smooth and crunchy here.
Yeah, I find if I have upset stomach and I still need to eat something, I'll take some toast, some peanut butter, and a little bit of honey.
I love peanut butter and honey.
Yeah, peanut butter's a great
When I-
snack. I mean, you get a good amount of protein. It's sweet.
When I
Sticks
was a
in
kid, I
teeth.
would eat nothing but peanut butter and honey sandwiches every day. And then when I got sick of them, my mother didn't know what to feed me.
I also quite like peanut butter cookies.
Or
Peanut butter.
made me think
Good
of
peanut
Anzac
butter cookie
cookies.
is very nummy.
Yeah, as long as it's a little bit soft, we're good.
Oh, my mom's were always crunchy. But Now that I'm in indenture age, maybe soft ones are better.
Yeah, I like the ones I get from my grocery store deli. They make them nice, soft ones.
Yeah, well, that's my problem. Don't have the teeth left, so I can't do anything crunchy.
Sure, I use
Anzac
peanut
cookies?
butter on waffles sometimes, and then toss a little honey on that. But I've
Are
never made
Anzac
peanut
biscuits?
butter and maple
Sorry.
syrup.
Are Anzac biscuits sold in America?
Skits, yeah, Skits is in America, on the West Coast. Fluff and Nutter sandwiches. Ooh, gosh.
I've done no Rice Krispie treats. I've mixed peanut butter in with the marshmallow and made Rice Krispie treats that way. That's pretty good.
I used to have the fluff and nutter sandwiches when I was a kid. That was before I found out that, the peanut butter wasn't so good for my system.
What does peanut butter do?
Yeah, mostly it just makes me gassy.
Ah,
I just don't
Yeah.
really digest it well.
yep.
So what's wrong with being gassy? Eat a bunch of peanut butter and go do a tour of elevators.
Yeah, but it's uncomfortable. It just makes me feel bloated.
Mm.
Oh.
There were a porpoise in the backstage, I think.
Sorry, I didn't realize that you had dropped out and come back.
Yeah.
No, I love chocolate chip cookies. Don't you dare waste the chips in peanut butter.
No, actually, I quite like doing peanut butter chocolate chip cookies. That's not bad.
No, I'm not. No.
I've never had a Reese's.
Pure, have to be pure.
You never had a Reese's peanut butter cup cookie?
Not a cookie, but I have had peanut butter cups and Reese's Pieces.
And Athena is currently attacking my arm.
Yep.
Because the kitty needs playtime.
Okay, made from sunflower seeds. That's a new one I haven't tried.
What made sunflower seeds?
Basically, it's like peanut butter, but it's made from sunflower seeds.
I've had
Alligator
almond butter
says it's called-
before.
Yeah.
Then sunflower butter.
Yeah,
Well,
I've had
Cilantro says it's called sun butter.
I've had almond butter before. That's not bad.
Yeah,
They're
well,
expensive.
years ago when I lived by a co-op, they had a nut grinder in there, and you could make any kind you wanted. So I had tried
that
almond
sounds like
butter
it
and
would hurt it.
cashew butter.
I haven't had for a long time apple butter. I used to love apple butter on toast.
I haven't heard that in a while. I thought
Oh,
apple butter was a Northeast thing.
oh no. My sister makes up homemade apple butter every year. Just a matter of the time when the apples are harvested.
Star butter made from starfish. Yes, that is correct. Starfish.
Well, that would be very crunchy then, wouldn't it?
No, starfish are soft. If you want the crunch, then you add in seahorses.
Don't they have an interior like skeleton? Starfish?
No, they're
Yes.
invertebrate.
Yeah,
I
but
think they have.
but starfish have
Yeah.
a spiny outer coating.
Yeah.
I think they have a very rudimentary central nervous system, but no brain.
Well,
Yeah,
I imagine
like-
it's different for each species of starship, but I have caught starfish in the ocean, and they were
Listen, if you've caught starships, we want you to share.
Yeah, really.
Okay, I was caught on the idea of a central rudimentary nervous system, but no brain. Are you sure you're not talking about MAGA?
No, because I don't even think Patrick Star would fall for Patrick or fall for Trump.
That would kind of be a interesting shirt right there.
Oh.
Picture of Patrick that says "Too smart for MAGA."
Hey, don't get the microphone sticky.
Did I see that video quick
I'm not
earlier of Bobert taking out the metal detectors?
Well, yeah, it was the security was taking them out, but yeah, Bobert was making a big presentation of it, that this was her accomplishment, that she got them to remove the metal detectors.
Okay.
And this is from one of the most vocal people of the idea that everybody should carry guns. I can't possibly see how putting these two things together could go wrong. Do you?
No, I think all the congressmen and congresswomen should be armed. I think that would be a good thing. Nothing, more than a 15-shot gun though. Ooh, crab! I can't stand crab. Yuck, icky.
I've never tried soft shell crab, but I do like regular crab.
Do you eat the shell on soft shell crab?
Well, that's the thing with the soft shell crab. You can eat the shell.
Fortunately, I don't have to.
I would like to hear that from an authoritative source. Purpose, tell me.
What? Python is the best language to use right now.
How do you prepare Python?
You install it using, if you're a Linux person, using sudo apt install python 3.
We are talking about cooking.
Yeah,
I'm going to pretend I was paying attention when I wasn't.
I
I've
recommend
just got a
barbecue.
point here that I didn't think of there. They're taking the metal detectors out of the Capitol building, but they insist on having them in all the schools, and the schools should only have one door.
Uh-huh. Well, it's okay to do that on the congressional floor because all the Republicans are such perfectly sane people. And
What's the point of only one exit?
They get their jobs done like they're doing with this speaker thing.
Well, only having one exit makes it harder for people to get in and out somehow.
I think that'd be a fire hazard.
Yeah,
having only one exit.
People are
it would be a violation of the fire codes in every city in the U.S.
Because
you have to have a second means of egress.
The entire problem is that they think adding more security is going to solve an issue that's not a security problem.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Well, it's because they will do anything except address the idea of restricting who's allowed to have guns.
It's America. It's how we do things.
I keep
the culture's
saying,
causing a problem, but they don't want to change the culture.
if mass shootings started happening at prep schools and golf courses, we'd have gun control overnight.
Well, the only reason we have gun control in the first place is rather racist.
Because they didn't want the blacks from being able to have them, like when the Panthers were arming themselves.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's when the first gun control laws were passed in California.
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan.
Well, actually, even before that, they had originally thought that was a good idea. Sorry, Jenny, what?
Nothing. I was just singing an old hippie song.
They had originally thought it was a solution to things, that if they made it easy for people in the ghettos to get guns, they'd cut down on their own numbers.
Nothing works out.
Oh, that felt good. I had a little sunburn. I was peeling my skin.
How'd you get a sunburn?
Yeah, how did you get sunburned in the middle of winter here?
You stayed under a sun lamp too long.
Oops.
Hey, Junie.
Is that?
Hey, everyone.
Hello.
Junie's new avatar too.
Oh, I have to look at that.
It's cute.
Boy, how can you make everybody else's avatars cuter than mine?
You got a point.
You made mine fat and dumpy.
Yeah, I don't know. If you look at everything Junie's done for me, she seems to have the perception that I'm 30 years younger than I am.
You mean you aren't 10 years old?
Oh, stop it.
I'm getting younger by the decade here.
Yeah, that's my Junie avatar, and I'm naked. that part I like.
So you're not wearing a bra in that avatar?
No, nothing. Absolutely buck naked.
Disgustingly,
We're trying to get
emojis too.
we're trying to get Purple tossed off of YouTube, so we went with naked avatars. There's a clothed version of that too. I can offer you that.
Shall we start cursing too?
If you really want to.
Apparently, YouTube is getting a hair up their ass about cursing.
Yeah.
We're screwed.
I think we've been pretty curse free tonight.
For the most part. Yeah, Beck, I'm with you. I definitely flowing dark hair is definitely a thing for me.
And a long jacket. I can't even remember the lyrics to that song.
Okay, I wasn't aware it was a song.
I like my first grade picture as my avatar.
That's great. Is that first like primary or secondary?
So that was what, you're like 8 years old there?
No, it'd be like 6. Oh,
Okay, yeah.
7. That's a second grade picture.
Why was you wearing makeup that early?
Well, my mom was a whore.
I expect your mom did it just because it was picture day.
Well, I was entering one of those childhood beauty contests, you know.
Oh God!
The theme was sluts on parade.
Oh, that's a good pattern. I don't see how those things are okay.
Yeah, isn't that weird? Well, you know, they're okay because they don't let any drag queens in them. Just dolled up children that are sexualized beyond belief.
How
I
did
think
they
it's bad
know?
enough for adults, let alone kids.
Wait a minute. How did they know? For all they know, one of those little girls could actually be a little boy in drag.
Well, that's entirely possible. You know what's really popular down south? They call them
Overt racism?
womanless pageants, and they have beauty pageants, and everybody is a man or a male in the dress, and some do it real campy and some do it real serious. But that's one of their big entertainments down south, where they hate drag queens and trans people.
Okay.
That sounds very heterosexual.
Well, actually, most cross-dressers are heterosexual.
And probably mega.
No.
Oh, I hate these people. God, I hate the Republicans.
Yeah, well, now we're seeing, how united they are and how effective they're going to be at working for the causes they think are important, aren't we?
Hey, you know something I have noticed going on over the last couple of weeks that seems to be having a certain amount of effect. There's the thing of all the right wing and religious freaks, screaming, yelling pedos and groomers to, gay people, or to gay people somewhat, but to trans and drag queens and stuff. What I've noticed people are doing, and I'm certainly joined in on it, is anytime there's been some sort of sexual assault or sexual crime, especially if it's against a child, even if it's like a middle-aged teenager, make a comment of, of a question. Oh, is that person a drag queen? You know, just write it in there. You know, like very casually, matter of fact, and then the opposition has to answer that, either positive or negative.
Or they'll just
To
ignore
highlight how
ignore
few
it.
of them.
Well, but what it does, it gets the thinking juices flowing. Okay, and
I see your
that's
problem.
it seems to be making a bit of a difference, is that because it shuts down the accusations.
I see the
Not a bad
problem.
idea.
Yeah, but I see a problem there already. Did anyone else spot it?
It's
Well, it does
normalizing
seem
that.
to kind of be promoting the narrative, yeah.
Oh no, I meant she was thinking that the MAGA people would be thinking.
Oh,
Ah,
well, okay, yes, that's
Good point.
definitely a weak point.
okay, Jenny Antjur was asking if you had naturally red hair at that age.
No, that's kind of the color shift in the photograph over 50 years or so, 55, 56, 60 years. Shit.
Actually, I
Back
think
in
what we're,
the Neolithic, they only had ochre to paint with.
Well, back then it was all black and white, and sometimes when the universe went to colors, sometimes the photos didn't quite know what colors they were supposed to use.
Kodachrome was a spectacular film, all the way back to the 1940s. Except in the 40s, it was very slow. It was like 25 ASA, which today is called ISO. But it was like 25, and then there was a version at 40. And it wasn't until like the 60s that you were able to start getting a speed of like 120 ISO and that on Kodachrome. And about the time they achieved that, the Ektachrome came out at 160 ASA, and you could chemically push Ektachrome up to 400 ASA.
I always wanted to make a darkroom. It's a shame that most cameras went digital.
Yeah, it really was. I was starting to put together a darkroom in my house, and suddenly digital cameras hit. You know, it's like, fuck! I just spent $700 on this shit.
You can
I
still
made a
get
dark room. It's where I sleep. I don't even have a camera.
film cameras, but they're a bit harder to find.
You beat me, Purple. I was going to say I have a dark room in my house, but I only use it for masturbating.
I saw Polaroids being sold in the toy section of Walmart.
Yes, Polaroids have felt a resurgence in the last 10, 15 years. Fuji came out with a film that was compatible with the Polaroid camera, the SX70 concept camera, where the picture develops right in front of you. And when that film was discontinued by Polaroid, Fuji started to make it, and people have been buying it, and it's usually used as like a party camera, that sort of thing. But there are some people who do serious photography with it. Art photography. And
you can also do Polaroid has also come back because it's not connected to the internet and it's harder to get the pictures up there. So it tends to be used for naughtier pictures.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, which
Yes,
is
I was gonna
what it
say.
was used for when it first came out.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
You don't have to have somebody developing it for you. So
and that's another one of the wonderful things that hangs on to human behavior and culture, mythologies and all that kind of stuff, is in the early days of the Polaroid black and white. You pull the thing out of the camera, and it was this thick, heavy backing paper and photo paper, and it was wrapped in this thing with all these chemicals, and it physically was heavy, not painfully heavy, but heavy for as little as it was. And you would want to swing it back and forth in the air to help keep the chemicals distributed evenly and that sort of thing. And then after 60 seconds you'd peel it apart and there's your picture. People still do that with Polaroid pictures from the SX70, which is completely unnecessary.
Yep.
And it hasn't been for like 30 years now, 40 years, 50 years, almost 50 years.
Yeah, I've
remember-
had both types of Polaroids over the years.
yeah, I remember having to do the flip it every so often.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I remember the old ones that you had to peel the backing off.
The SX70 I thought was one of the coolest damn cameras ever built. It was a single lens reflex, like a DSLR, except it was Polaroid, and it was weird to hold and all that kind of stuff. That was bad, but it actually had a fairly good lens on it, and because it was an SLR, which means single lens reflex, that you're actually looking through the same lens as the picture is being taken with, as opposed to a viewfinder that's off to the side, or a twin lens which has one on top of each other. So it was an accurate view camera, and you could do a lot of good stuff in it. They had close-up lenses and different types of flashes and other interesting accessories. Sorry.
No, it's interesting.
Listen, if we want to nerd out, I mean,
No, I wasn't aware that there was a Polaroid that you could change lenses on.
No, you could add lenses to it. They're always mount-on lenses, slip-ons and that sort of thing. I never knew of any interchangeable Polaroids. Although Polaroid did make a film. It was number 107 film. It was black and white, 3 by 4 inch image, and number of camera companies, Speed Graphic, Hasselblad, Mamiya, Secor, and I think one or two other made film backs for their cameras that would accept the Polaroid film. And so a professional could be setting up their picture and do a Polaroid of it to check final lighting and composition and stuff like that before they actually shoot the film. And that was very useful, because the Polaroid shot cost about $1 to do, and then you're not making a mistake in your big expensive.
Okay, I'm not sure the purpose of this, but it seems that Beck is needing to take a poll here. So who here considers themselves Beck's friend? Here.
I guess so.
I think I do.
Why, Beck, are you feeling that there are people who are being nice while you're around who aren't nice when you're not here?
I'd like to consider myself Beck's friend. I hope he considers me as a friend.
Yeah, whoever is opening and playing with things in the background, please mute your mic.
Oh, gosh, people are such whiners.
I did just mute my mic a little bit ago, so I don't think it's me, but I realized I was giving background noise when I can't remember her name was speaking. Jenny.
Yeah, we just want to try to minimize the background noise so it's not going over people talking.
I remember back then when I first started joining the streams, I'd be on a huge lag behind everybody, and I just pop in and start talking over all of you.
Wait, did a Canadian just accuse an American of being way too friendly?
Well, and Doc of all people, for lack of a better word, because Doc is an urban horror.
Because if there's one thing Americans are known for, it's our friendliness.
Yes.
Especially Iowan.
Yeah, well, Iowa's not as bad because, it is one of those gradient things that the further south you get, the more unfriendly they seem to get. Although people in the South are renowned for acting friendly when they hate you. There's that Southern politeness.
Bless your heart type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Bless your heart.
Well, I don't think anyone's done that
Southern.
around here lately, Beck.
That's because they need to have the Northeastern thing of, if they don't like you, actively acting like they don't like you.
Well, if I don't like somebody, I will just actively ignore them. It's just, I don't have enough energy for dealing with the people I actually like. I'm not going to waste it on people I don't like.
I didn't even see your posts on Twitter, Beck. So
I
Twitter can be
solve not
funny that
having.
way.
I solve not having people that I don't like by not being social.
Yeah, I really haven't looked at the public part of Twitter today.
Beck, since Elon took over, the algorithm for who you see and what you see and when has changed, and suddenly all the people that I've seen regularly and stuff like that just disappeared. And unless you're specifically thinking of one person and tracking them down to look at their page, you just don't see the same people as you did. I haven't seen this. Whatever you put up, I'll go take a look at it if you'd like.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. I don't get really much of anybody's like stuff.
Yeah, it has gotten hard that I'm seeing a lot of random people that I never heard of before, and I'm not seeing as many of the people in the community.
I think I've muted a lot of like people that just got really annoying. They retweeted like Elon Musk.
I don't really do that.
He is such a piece of work. My God Almighty.
Well, no, I had to mute him because people kept like, it's like, I don't care what. It's like, this guy is not a genius. Stop promoting him.
Yeah, I would firmly agree with that, and I try to make that point with folks too. He's really not a very good businessman either. Oh man, he's just fucked Twitter up so bad. I mean, it's just things are starting to fail. A couple days ago, every time you tried to upload an image, it would say, "Oh, I can't do that," and then you click it, retry, and it does it instantly. It
was doing that to all of my posts for about a week.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, the most recent one I loved is that apparently Twitter was censoring all of the images of the SpaceX launch because the rocket looked like a dildo.
Wait, was that before he took over?
No, this was only, the last few days during the most recent launch.
Oh, okay.
You mean Bezos's rocket looked like a penis? It absolutely looks like a penis.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
I actually did track down some of Elon Musk's code.
What did you think of it?
Yeah. For a code written for a Spectrum ZX80 in like the late 80s, mid to late 80s, it's fine. I mean, it doesn't have any subroutines, but the language didn't really allow it either, so...
Did Spectrum Basic have Ghost Sub? I can't remember.
I had a Commodore, so I'm going to assume it was similar. The Commodore did not.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm reading through your posts here, Beck.
Beck, can we share them?
Yeah, Beck, I'll have to go and... Well, okay, do people want to bring them up and we can discuss them here?
Well, it's up to Beck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know what happened. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you can't expect people... I don't know what happened, but I know I've had some issues with people, and sometimes you just try to say it's like, hey, you're being a little transphobic, and it goes overboard because people just don't like that accusation.
Beck, I went to Mastodon. I'm on that also. My address is at BONZOIX of MN at mastodon.lol. I can't believe I remembered that. Wow. Yeah, I'm actually starting to like Mastodon. I haven't run into any haters at all yet.
Oh, that's boring.
No, it really isn't. It's very nice. there's been some genuine science people that have been on, and I've asked, my layperson's ignorance science questions, and they answer them very kindly and understanding that I'm an idiot. And it's just a real different experience, and I like it.
Well, what I'm understanding, my very limited understanding of Mastodon, is that it doesn't have the AI deciding, what to show you and who to show you. That you actually have to build up your own streams with what you want to see.
Mm-hmm. Beck says no. We don't need to go over it.
Okay, Beck, I'll look at them tomorrow. I probably won't have the energy to look at tonight after the stream.
I'll try to remember. If you want to send me a DM to remind me, I'll be glad to.
I am sure Twitter will survive Musk, but it won't be what it was.
Huh?
No, he's pretty much damaged it now.
Essentially, he's turned it into Gab.
What's Gab?
Oh, I don't know.
Twitter for Nazis.
Oh, okay.
So he changed it from a left-wing cesspool to a right-wing cesspool.
Yeah, that's what he's done. It's just his concept of absolute freedom of speech is just, that's insane and incredibly immature.
He hasn't been exactly consistent with that.
He's been totally inconsistent with it.
He doesn't believe in freedom of speech. He believes in freedom of his speech and no one else's.
Yeah.
I don't think it can take criticism, which is fine. A lot of us don't like it, but if you can't take criticism, and if you're going to buy a site like that, just don't keep posting your opinion.
Yeah.
If you got $4 billion in your bank account, you are immune to criticism. It's like, what is somebody's words going to do to affect you? It's fuck the world when you got that much money. He's a child.
I do believe that Musk thought that by buying Twitter, he would be able to control what people said about him.
That makes sense.
And Beck, sorry you're having such a hard time.
Sorry, what?
I was reading through Beck's posts. Sorry you're having such a hard time.
Beck, if you want to DM me later with the tweets, maybe.
I will look at them later, Beck. Even though, of course, with Sloth Girl in the hospital, I have even fewer spoons available than usual.
Oh, Beck, yes, except there's Bonzoix. Not IAO. No. ZOAO.
I've also created an account on Mastodon. I haven't done anything with it yet, but I have created an account.
Yeah, and there's got to be an @ thing in front of the name. It's a double @ service,
Okay, can we get back an extra $1 to get a blue check mark?
Yes, that is that. No, MN Minnesota.
Why don't you print it in the
together?
Jen? Why don't you print your Mastodon in the chat so that it's easier to?
The @ thing is correct. You just got to change of New Mexico to Minnesota.
Yeah, do you have something you can cut and paste for it? Just to make sure it got it all right.
Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. No, I've never even been to New Mexico.
Yep. Yeah, it's just the muscle memory on the keyboard. You're used to typing it one way so often.
Well, you're running out of things to say already?
No, I'm just a little distracted. I'm plucking my eyebrows.
Okay.
Good
Yeah.
times.
Yeah,
We
I
just had a
probably.
little pause there.
That reminds me, the next time I go to the beauty school, I should have my eyebrows waxed.
No, have them threaded. It's
Completely
really-
off.
It's they can thread your eyebrows in less than 15 minutes.
That sounds unpleasant.
No, it's really not. Well, I don't know. Everybody's different in what their pain resistance is, but I found it to be just no big deal whatsoever.
I actually have a fairly high. I have a fairly high pain tolerance after the last few years, but
I think you'd find it's quite easy. I wouldn't want anything waxed up in there. Oh, that just sounds terrible.
I was looking at
Over the years, I've learned a good meditation trick that I can kind of mentally detach part of my body, and I won't feel anything that you're doing to it for a little while.
That's neat. Wish I could learn that trick.
I think it's
Yeah,
called.
it's been very good for when I had to pick up very hot things. I still wind up getting blisters, but at least I can do the job.
I think it's called barrels of whiskey.
Nope. This is without.
Oh wait, no, that's
any
an Irish punk song. Anyway,
No, it's without any kind of drugs. It's just one of the things I picked up in my pagan years that I still find useful.
ooh, jeez, I thought I muted myself. Anyway, I need to get to sleep because I have to be up again tomorrow. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Hey,
Thank
take care,
you.
Porpoise.
Good night.
I was looking at this thing on a girl who ended up blinding herself since she was trying to get her eyeballs dyed.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Get your eyeballs dyed?
Yeah, she's trying to get the whites of her eyes is turned black through a tattooing, and the tattoo artist one went too deep, and two used the wrong kind of ink, and it blinded her.
Oh yeah, just no.
Fuck. I would love to get some of those contact lenses that change the eye color of your eye. I like to, I got blue eyes, but I'd like to have like a real bright blue. But I'm just not going to put anything in my eye like that. I mean, lose your vision? Are you kidding?
And
Hey.
apparently she's back in the news since one of her eyes had to be replaced. She lost one of her eyes.
Down
Well-
under, Jen.
Well, if she needs a fake eye, then she can at least make that black then.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I did contacts for a while, and actually I wouldn't mind contacts, except that my eyes are so dry, the lenses dry out and fall off on their own. And after it fell out of my eye while I was driving for the second or third time, I decided that wasn't something I could keep doing.
I find things close to my eye squeaky, so the idea of putting contacts in doesn't feel like, turns me off.
Well, it's just that a lot of times my glasses do get in the way.
Though I am a bit confused here because the news reports are saying that she had the procedure done in April of 2017. Yet I'm looking at her Instagram and she's got pictures with her eyes blackened from 2016.
Well, I would say people are pretty shitty with dates and stuff then.
Or maybe blackening your eyes makes you a time traveler.
Oh, wow. I think you're right, man.
Still not doing it. Even giving me the ability to time travel would not be motivation enough to let you stick a needle in my eye.
How would one even keep their eye open just for a needle to get through? I don't know.
I was-
can't imagine it.
I had to have my cataracts removed because I was kind of like going blind.
Mhm.
And it just the whole idea of being there with your eye, you're completely awake and your eyes open and you can see everything. And then they come at you with this scalpel.
Oh yeah, I watched my mom's cataract surgery on video.
Well, the whole concept of just sitting there or laying there and seeing this scalpel come at your eye just
Oh,
frightened
boy.
the fuck out of me.
Mm.
And the doctor said,
Yeah.
"Don't worry, you'll feel fine. You'll know that your eye isn't moving and that everything's safe and that I have a steady hand and everything." And it turns out you don't even see the scalpel because it comes in from the side. And it's done before you know it. Then it was absolutely painless.
I remember having to have my eyes jabbed with something for a test I had to do. What was those? Oh yeah, they're trying to figure out why my eyes had become so sensitive to light. So I had to inject my eye with something.
I'm glad I got my cat. I didn't even know I had cataracts. But after I got it, I'm like, oh, I can see again.
I would have thought you would have had doggeracks, but
Well, I would have preferred those. At least you can take them hunting. It was
Okay, I get it.
it was as dramatic as the first time I got glasses. And those of you out there who are nearsighted and gotten glasses when you're a kid, you'll be able to relate to it. That I got glasses and my mom takes me outside out of the doctor's building and it's summertime and there's trees and stuff all around and suddenly I realized that trees have leaves. They've just always been this just big green blob. I had no idea, and I saw airplanes in the sky, and just all this shit that I would never know I was missing.
yeah, I remember I was in 3rd grade when I got my first pair of glasses, and just driving home, I was just amazed that in the car I could actually read the street signs. Hey, Jen.
Hey, how are you?
Jen. Hi.
Hello.
Hey, Jenny. Hi, Andrew. Hi, Madge. Hi, Jenny.
Hello.
Been a while, Jen.
How's it been going for you?
Not too bad. Not too bad at all.
How
Nice
are you
to catch
finding the
up.
weather?
This is one of the first Fridays I've actually been at home when you've been streaming for ages.
Are you getting back into it?
Yeah, slowly. I've got some stuff I've kind of got planned, but I've been so busy with other stuff around the house at the moment. I want to get the other stuff done I put off first because it kind of needs doing. So, but it's too hot today to do anything. So it really is. It's just hot. It's hot and humid, which is the worst kind of hot. So because it rained this morning and it's going into 35 degrees Celsius today. So yeah,
it was about 1 degree Celsius here.
yeah, so a
I
bit
was
warmer
going to
here.
say that we're having a positive heat wave. It almost got up to the freezing point here.
Mm-hmm. We were 39 last week, and they said it's going to be Fahrenheit in the 20s for the next several days.
Why does
But after
Angel
that,
want
it's
to know what
back
I
up
want to
to-
know about what I think about peanut butter?
We were talking about peanut butter earlier.
Ah, do Australians like peanut butter? The answer is yes. Most Australians. I like peanut butter.
Smooth or
weather's-
crunchy?
Smooth. I prefer smooth, but I know plenty of people who like crunchy. I just prefer smooth peanut butter.
And what else do you put on a peanut butter sandwich?
Oh, generally only peanut butter. I'm not a big fan of putting. Well, we call it jam, but you call it jelly with peanut butter.
No,
I've tried
jam-
it, but I don't
we have
really
Jam
like
and
it.
jelly are two different things.
Yeah, jelly is just is like a clear gelatin of whatever fruit you're doing, and jam would be the whole fruit's cooked up and mashed inside of it.
All
And so
right.
it actually has the roughage.
Okay, so we generally don't
actually,
have
the-
jellies over
Actually,
here.
the
so-
whole
Yeah, I
fruit,
don't.
the whole fruit pushed together is preserves.
Yeah, why do you need my Australian opinion? Andrew's here.
Well, Andrew lies,
And, no, he doesn't.
Hello.
I already gave my peanut butter preferences. I like honey on my peanut butter sandwiches.
Yeah, same
Well,
here.
Andrew told us
I've
that
seen people do that. Yeah.
he likes to do peanut butter and Vegemite, and so we just stopped talking to him.
I've done that too. I must admit I didn't like it, but I've done it.
I've
do my
never
peanut-
done that.
Yeah, I do my peanut
Just
butter
plain
sandwiches open face.
Yeah, open face peanut butter's nice.
I really like peanut butter on toast that is just a shy away from starting to burn, and then nice fresh butter on both pieces of toast, then the peanut butter, and then anything else you want to put on, like lettuce. Oh, I love peanut butter and lettuce. That's really
Okay.
neat.
I wouldn't put peanut butter on toast because I don't like it when the heat from the toast starts making the peanut butter go melty. I like my peanut butter fairly, even though I don't particularly like crunchy peanut butter, I like it to still be thick. But whilst I love Vegemite, I only like Vegemite on toast. Vegemite on bread on its own just isn't the same. I like the whole thing of the Vegemite starting to melt a bit when you have it on the toast, and it's nicer than just straight out Vegemite. And Andrew's probably going to call me a heretic for that.
What does Vegemite taste like?
Oh God, what do you have over there?
Marmite.
It's easy to describe it to people from the UK because you can say it's similar to Marmite. The taste is perhaps a bit milder, but more salty than Marmite.
So
Yeasty and salty.
Bitter flavor, salty flavor. So salty
Yeah,
flavor.
Vegemite is quite a bit salty. So if you like salt in your things, and you like a malty taste, you will probably like Vegemite. But it is one of those things. It's like Marmite's the same. You have to have that sort of acquired taste for a malty thing, which has a degree of saltiness to it. So,
from my understanding, Vegemite is vegetarian spam.
I like spam as well, so don't.
I do too. Yeah, spam is okay.
I've roasted spam before.
Spam is really no different than sausage. It's just
it's the same.
It's just not in a tube, and it's only got one meat, and it's not as ground as fine.
Now, spam exists because Hormel needed to figure out what to do with the meat that wasn't suitable for putting in hot dogs.
Yeah, well, isn't that what they do with sausages in some countries? It's just sausages is all the offal that's left over.
You mean like pig lips and pig rectum?
Yeah. There's no guarantee what sort of meat your sausage is going to be.
Well, hey,
Okay,
if
never
you've
mind.
got natural casing sausages, do you know what that is?
Intestine.
Intestine.
Yeah,
done it.
natural casing is actually using the
Who's
animal's
actually used the
intestine.
sausage making machine?
You guys pronounce it testine, huh?
Intestine.
Intestine. Yeah.
Okay. So
It's for us. It's intestine.
okay, so I see. Vegemite is
That's
bruised
all right.
meat
It's the whole
extract.
aluminum thing, isn't it?
Oh,
No,
don't get me started.
aluminum is correct.
It's not though. You can't say one is more correct than the other because from a linguistics point of view, both have a similar evolutionary trait.
Yes.
And both are accepted like linguistics. So
All right.
aluminium or aluminum are both correct despite what anyone wants to argue with it.
I will.
It's a bit like the old pineapple on pizza or not. I hate pineapple on pizza. I think it's evil. I think it's the closest thing to anything that's truly satanic in the world. But there are plenty of people who love it, and that's perfectly valid too.
I'm good with being satanic.
I can settle
It's
this
okay for
argument.
people to be wrong.
Jen, I can settle this argument once and for all from a scientific perspective. Aluminium. How's it spelled? Aluminum, right?
Yeah.
So name me another metal off of the periodic table, like lithium or
gallium,
sodium.
Sodium.
Americanium, Californium.
All the metals are INUM, and aluminum eliminates a letter that should be there because it's a metal. It's aluminium.
Yeah, it doesn't matter though, because both have been because language is descriptive, not prescriptive. So, and both have become accepted in our vernacular. So, both are correct.
Oh, I
in
can
that
accept
sense.
either, but only if it's correct.
Yeah.
Are,
We can
are
argue
there other-
linguistics. I like linguistics.
Are there countries outside of the US and Canada that pronounce it aluminum?
There's a couple.
I wonder, does Canada pronounce it aluminium?
No.
Canada has a weird. It does both, depending on where you're from in Canada.
Someone called me.
I think if you're in the French areas of the more Frenchy areas of Canada, they pronounce aluminium, whereas the ones that are less Frenchy pronounce it aluminum.
Well,
like
if
in
that's how
US.
the French pronounce it, we know what's wrong.
But the
Okay,
French are where we get most
Oh, you
of our
just love
language.
languages that genderize everything.
Okay, I was looking at Vegemite and it's made of a brucius extract. Okay, I've had brucius before. Yeah, that's not a go now.
I don't understand why other languages are genderized. You know, like you find it in French, you find it in Italian, you find it in Spanish. You
German.
know, German is too. Wasn't
Yeah.
sure of that.
Slavic languages.
I think Norwegian.
Oh, no, a lot of languages give genders to things.
And why is that? I don't understand why.
Oh God.
I think Acadian gendered.
Yeah, I mean, we do it too, to a certain extent, because there's like people refer to ships as she, and their car might be she, and but we don't directly language genderize it. And it's that same thing. It's because like in French, if you've got your you've got your prefixes to the words that determine your gender, right? But the male and female term applying gender to a secondary word can sometimes change the meaning of the word. So it gives a variance to the way that the word is used. So I think that is the way that it derived from, so that the gendering the words gave them different meanings. So
I can't give
it
an
developed
example
from that.
in English of that.
Sorry?
I can't think of an
there is one, but I can't remember what it is. we actually have a few terms that have been brought in from other areas which are genderized, because English. The thing is that English is a lot later language, so English evolved not to need this as much, or we gendered things differently.
Well, in English,
Old
a lot of
English used to be
professions got
gendered, didn't it?
genderized, because we've got
Old
like
English was
mailman.
to a certain extent. Modern English is not generally speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we've
Which
got
is funny
things like
because if you listen to
mailman and
conservatives talk,
fireman.
gender is important.
Oh yeah. Well, gender. I mean, an individual's gender is important to the individual, but only to the individual. It shouldn't matter to anyone else.
I remember there was a Fox News segment a few years ago, and one of the hosts said, "But if the toys aren't color-coded pink or blue, how will I know which toys are for boys and which ones are for girls?"
It's like
One that they play with.
Yeah, that's one of the sickest things I can.
I wish I was making that up.
But it's a patriarchal thing. That side of it is totally a patriarchal thing where we needed where society needed to separate boys from girls to eliminate girls from achieving, because fragile men's egos couldn't handle girls achieving. It's the same for sports. The whole reason why men and women's sports was separated was fragile men's egos, not because women insisted on it. Women were quite happy, not quite happy, but were competing with men originally, and the men said, "No, you can't do that because some of you are beating us."
Do you know
in the 18th century? In the 18th century, and the switch over from 18th to 19th century, the colors were reversed. Blue was for girls, and pink was for boys, and everybody wore dresses.
Yeah, up until just before puberty. So, up until about 10 or 11. Yeah.
Do you know when
it would vary.
Ernest Hemingway was brought up in a frock. There's pictures of him as a young boy in his frock.
Do you happen to know when they separated sexes in sports?
Most of it happened at the turn of last century. Prior to that, a lot of sports were combined, but there was also a whole aspect of women weren't allowed to compete in a lot of events anyway. So women were separated by not being allowed to do any of it. So there was always that. There was a form of separation in that. But once the women were allowed to compete, women were competing with the men, and some women were winning. And they were not getting the fundage to help them or the training that the men were, but they were still able to compete. In a lot of sporting events, gender makes absolutely zero difference to how well somebody can compete in it. If you've ever played netball on a mixed team, there are advantages for people based on their body type more so than on their gender. In a mixed games, okay, on average, the guys are probably stronger than the girls. But it's only on average.
Yeah, in the upper body strength.
6'6" guy is definitely going to toss a tennis ball across, on a serve a lot faster than a woman can. But that has nothing to do with being able to return it or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not even that. It's like with the netball is not basketball, Andrew. Netball is a different game. There is no dribbling in netball. There are zones that players are only allowed in, and the court's marginally smaller. And it is quite a fast-paced game, actually. It's a really good game. It's a lot of skill.
And the WNBA, they have got shooters that are dropping 3-point shots all the time, and just dead nuts from every angle of the. Yeah,
the biggest advantage that men will get for an NBA would be height.
Yeah,
because on average, the men are going to be taller.
And there's a lot of 6 foot 3-inch women playing.
There are, but most of the men are like 6'6", who are the tall ones. So yeah, you got to balance that out. There's probably a 3 but even so, those men are unusual for men. So shorter men would not get a chance to play, and the shorter men would certainly not be able to compete with the tall women. So the whole thing of how we've split sports out was effectively just a social construct based on the feelings of certain men who didn't like losing. I mean, a good example of that is when guns first entered the Olympics and you had shooting. The first competition for guns in the Olympics, and it was fairly early on. It was in the 1920s, I believe, and a woman came second because there was only an open division. There was only men and women competing together, and a woman came second. Very next Olympics, you had men's and women's divisions because the men did not like losing a space to a woman.
The best shooter ever known was Annie Oakley.
Yes, she was. But I mean, from an Olympics point of view, the men did not like losing a spot to the women, so it became separated. Yeah, and yet there is absolutely zero reason for it. There is no reason why anyone why a man or should be any better than a woman firing a gun.
And
none at all.
Archery, the same thing.
Archery is the same, and it got split for similar reasons. And most sports are in those lines.
I would think
this modern thing of protecting people based on the danger of being injured is just fucking bullshit, because the size discrepancy on people in team sports means that you would have more risk of being injured from somebody else in your team who is just bigger than you would from somebody who is trans, because there's going to be so few trans people around. It's just pure bigotry. With fear mongering.
In a weird way, I love that narrative. I really do. Like the whole trans women are ruining women's sports. It's like, okay, there have been a total of 6 trans women that have won major athletic events. I mean,
in 20 years,
any that won any Olympic events ever.
Yeah, not at the very top level. At lower down, like college level, yes. Well, none at the very top level.
There was that absurd one from Florida, of course. That they made this big deal about, this transgender high school girl who, took a place away in swimming. And it's like, she didn't even win. She didn't come in second or third. She came in 17th.
Yeah.
It was just the parents of this other kid who got bumped off the team for it that made a stink about it.
Yeah. And it's pure bigotry. It's got nothing to do with ability or anything. like that. If you actually look at the statuses of most trans women who compete, provided they've been on hormones for a reasonable length of time, they're competing at approximately the same level as a cis woman would.
What really makes me
that
mad
time.
is knowing that the only reason that these laws and proposals have come up is sheer desire for getting votes and causing trouble and making.
Oh, yeah. It's a distraction.
It's not a question at all anywhere in the 45 years that I have been in transition. It was just never an issue. It just didn't exist until 2015.
You've been transitioned nearly as long as I've been alive.
Yeah, I have. I've got a little history here, and
yeah, I know.
It's just so
I've hit that milestone, Jenny.
They're spending so much time, so much money, and so much human anxiety and hurt and everything to pass these laws. And let's see, I'm trying to remember which state it was. I think it was Texas, or I want to say Arkansas. I don't remember. But you know how many students they were working with? One.
Yeah.
One.
Oh no, you're talking about
nobody could answer the question.
Utah.
Who was the one before?
That was in Utah.
Yeah,
they introduced all these laws to stop trans girls from competing with cis girls in school sports for one student.
Yep. So it's just a total crock of shit.
Yeah, if you are so bad as a political party that you can't make an argument on anything else, you find a social issue that's going to stir up your base, and you bang at that with a wedge. And I mean, the same thing was being done in the past with gay rights, and then
and that's
segregation as far as skin color went, or anything like that. It's always been the same thing.
Why the trans thing showed up in 2015 is because the Supreme Court made the decision that you can't deny people marriage, and so they lost the fight with gays, and so they decided, well, let's see, gay is not trans, so let's beat up them.
And I had somebody highlight it very, very abruptly for me for what the thing is in the UK. The UK has been so pulled out of the position of being able to demonize other countries because they now have no say in any other countries. They've turned in on themselves, and this is where their aspect is coming from, because the upper class of the UK have always, middle upper class have always needed somebody to treat as lower and not as important.
Scotland, we have to tip our hats to Scotland. Has done extremely.
Scotland has done amazingly well, despite a murky and equipped fucking idiot.
Let me finish my sentence, please. They've done an excellent job fighting for trans rights on every bill that they're faced. The Tories come in and they tell all the standard lies. The TERFs are there in numbers, and the people, the legislative bodies of Scotland just go, sorry, you're wrong, and keep supporting us. It's one of the only places on earth I can think of it happening that way. Well, Canada.
We were talking about language before this. We got really sidetracked.
So I'm kind of curious about what the trans people in this live stream and the chat have to say about it. Yesterday, Oklahoma's legislature dropped a bill, which means it'll be debated on soon.
Is this a 26-year-old thing?
Yes.
Yeah, the detransition. Everyone under 26 has to detransition.
I wrote a little short essay in our chat.
It amazes me how they've been complaining about. Think of the children. We've got to protect the children. You're not old enough to vote, so you can't possibly be able to make a decision. Now it's 26.
And
so we're going to increase the voting age to 26, and no one can be made to go to war until they reach 26. Is that what we're going to do? Are we going to standardize this? Because
no, they
just not consistent.
What about the whole thing about small government and my freedoms, and the government can't force me to do anything? But now the government can force anyone under 26 to get a medical treatment they don't want.
Yeah, that doesn't.
And stop
doesn't
you
work.
from voting.
Jen, in
Because
America,
they know that generation hates them with the intensity of 1,000 suns.
in America, you can drive at 16, you can go to war and vote at 18, and at 21 you can drink, and at 25 you can become a member of the Congress of the United States in Washington, D.C. So what they're 26 now you can be trans if you want. It's like fuck you very much.
It's about appealing to their base again. That's
Yeah.
all it is. It's not about.
But-
It's about trying to win votes with their far right base.
Yeah, but
It's exactly the same
the
mentality
danger-
that Trump originally introduced to them.
The danger of it, though, is that if this were to pass, and it may well.
Oh, in Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Ohio, sorry, not Oklahoma, isn't it?
Oklahoma is a state that right after Roe v. Wade, the legislators tried to put in a new state constitutional amendment that banned abortion forever, and it was voted down by the people in a referendum. But it still could pass because this is just the legislator that's handling this. But the next problem is that it is no more than one short paragraph to ban it for all adults.
Yeah.
Okay, to force all of us to go through detransition, and then suicide is going to be rampant, and the rest of us they can put in an extermination.
Exactly how would forcing them look like anyway?
Not
Were they
You
going
just,
to
you just
arrest
stop
them?
medical transition of any form.
That's what's scary.
And make it illegal to wear clothes that aren't considered appropriate for your gender. These are laws that we have that were in the US back in the 60s. So,
well, Texas just arrested somebody the other day for being a man wearing a dress.
Yeah, a trans woman, a post-operative trans woman.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then imprisoned her with men.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, I didn't know if they were post op or not.
So
I see a lawsuit coming out of that one though.
Oh yeah.
I mean, with that in mind, I'm just going to throw this out there. Alex is actually being considered a political refugee and will be moving to Germany sometime in the next year.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So bear in mind,
I'm expecting the same treatment from Canada.
If you're trans or any other marginalized group,
come to Australia.
Most of Europe is accepting people.
Australia's pretty good too. I mean, some of our laws still need a bit of updating, but generally speaking,
okay, but
we've been pretty good for about 20 years over here.
Yeah, how are they about accepting somebody who's trans and disabled, so doesn't really have a viable income anymore?
That would be harder to get into the country.
Even as a political refugee?
I don't know if we have a political refugees thing for trans people, but possibly you could. I don't know. I haven't looked at it. I live here.
Refugees overseas, don't we?
Sorry?
We send refugees overseas, don't we? To Pacific Islands.
Depends on where they come from, Andrew.
Yeah, because
that refugee was coming from the US, we probably let them in.
At this point, without Social Security, I can't afford to pay my rent.
Oh,
yeah. I don't think you'd have that problem elsewhere in the developed world. Because what's happening, Alex and I each are getting a flight over to Germany. We're getting temporary housing and temporary food for the first few months. No cost to us at all. Because Alex is a political refugee and I'm going to be married to them shortly. So, I mean, and the social safety nets, especially over in Europe in the more progressive countries, the social safety nets are considerably stronger.
Yeah, I mean,
well, that's what I'm wondering about is, just the long-term housing if I can't be working.
Oh, getting housing here is pretty simple.
America, the land of free unless you're disadvantaged.
We even have government housing here where the government actually owns the house that they rent out to the people.
America, where human rights are a commodity.
Everything's a commodity.
And don't forget, we have good health. Well, pretty good health care. I would say
Yeah.
that we get less coverage on things than they do in the UK, but we don't have as long a waiting list or as much bullshit that means people don't end up getting treatment despite the fact it's supposedly covered.
Yeah, but all
So-
the skin transplants they do in Australia are with crocodile skin. I don't.
Do you know if dental is covered in Britain?
No,
I
it is
don't
not.
know that, but I mean, it doesn't cost you much to get the gap cover to cover your dental and stuff like that in Australia. So there's just a waiting period for it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind living in Australia. It has a similar climate to Florida, so
Depends where you live in
Depending
Australia.
where on the coast, yeah.
Yeah,
well,
On
I
the
can
north-
find places that have similar climates, so it'd be good for me.
you can definitely you can. You can even find places that are similar in climate to some areas of Canada. I mean, you don't get the snow, but you can get
But
well, you
if
know
you
you
move-
do in Tasmania. you can get
Tasmania?
snow.
If you move
Yeah.
to New Zealand, you don't have any of the things that are trying to kill you.
Yeah, New Zealand's a great
Yeah,
option
New
for people if
Zealand.
they want to get out of the US. New
I
Zealand
would
is
love to move
even more
to
forward
New
than
Zealand.
Australia.
I
New
did
Zealand's
want to
awesome.
dig for sapphires in Queensland. I taught myself how to cut those things.
Cool. Yeah, Queensland's a good option if you're from Florida. Be very similar.
There's downhill skiing in New Zealand.
Yeah, you probably don't have anywhere in Australia that's like
They shot
Minnesota,
Lord
though.
of the Rings in New Zealand. I'm sorry, I got a massive delay.
What was
Yeah,
that,
you
Purple?
probably don't have anything like Minnesota there, though.
What's
Probably.
Minnesota like? I haven't been to Minnesota.
Colder and
Oh.
more snow than most of Canada.
No, you'd have to go to New Zealand for something like that.
Jen, we legitimately do hit 40 below centigrade. Celsius.
I know, but I'm just saying, if you wanted to do, if you wanted that, you'd want to go to New Zealand, Southern Island.
Yeah,
But,
and we expect that at least once or twice a year we'll get a storm that will drop a foot of snow in less than a day.
I mean, maybe once or twice a year we get below 0 Celsius here, where I am, and I'm fairly south in Western Australia.
Yeah,
You can get a little bit further south than me, but not much.
That's
and,
t-shirt
yeah.
and short weather here.
You can. I don't have, unless of course it's really windy because we get a lot of Arctic wind here, and that can be real. So the chill factor can drop the temperature down. But if it's not particularly windy, yeah, you can wear a t-shirt in Windsor. But it does mean summers are
Minnesota
hot.
from the last week of November to the first week of March, we don't expect to get above freezing.
Jan, is being isolated in Western Australia a positive or a negative?
Oh, because I am fairly isolated where I am. No, I quite like it here. I mean, I loved when I was living in Perth. I loved the access to everything and what have you. But I mean, I'm half an hour from Albany, which is a reasonably sized metropolitan area for Australia.
The weather here
So
is
it's a lot easier to get from
Albany's
Brisbane
got
to
40,000
Melbourne
people,
than-
and I consider that a reasonably sized metropolitan area. That's a small town in the US, but for Australia, that's one of our cities. So,
what size did you say?
40,000 is Albany.
Well, actually, the city I'm in is only about 30,000, so you're still bigger than
So,
this.
so similar size to where you're living.
Yeah.
Is Albany, but I don't live in Albany. I live in Mount Barker, which is 50 kilometers north of there, and the population here is about 3,500.
What's the total population of Australia? Do you know?
About 26
million.
to 28 million.
Yeah.
And is it like 80-90% live on the coasts?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The eastern coast mainly, but a little bit on the western coast.
Yeah, but most of that
Well, only
western
the crazy
coast
people
is
live on the
southern
west
western
side.
coast. Most of the west is
Only the
Sorry.
crazy people live on the west side, right, Jen?
yeah, something like that.
Darwin is a beautiful city.
Sorry?
I've seen pictures of Darwin and I thought about moving there at one point. It's a beautiful
Hot and
city.
humid all year round.
Darwin's
Well,
a bit
when
crazy
I-
because of the heat.
And Crocs, which would make you feel at home if you're from Florida.
Well, yeah, when I was actually looking at that, I was living in Florida.
Well, we have more alligators than crocs, but yeah.
Yeah, I know, but you're from a distance, you would think.
Yeah, they kind of look the same, except
Once you get up
alligators have
close,
a
you're
rounded
screwed, though.
snout.
Yeah.
Alligators have a rounded snout, and
And crocs are bigger.
crocodiles pointed
Alligators
and
are
bigger and
outside,
pointy.
crocodiles' teeth are on the outside.
Hey,
To be
Mhm.
fair,
how to tell an alligator from a crocodile is one of the things I learned from Sesame Street.
Is it to do with the teeth?
it's the snout.
Yep.
Oh, okay, I thought there was also a tooth thing as well.
But that's when you're comparing like the saltwater crocodiles and the alligators in Florida. But there are so many different breeds of alligator and crocodile, and they've all got different snouts. So and we've got two types of crocodile in Australia. We've got freshwater and saltwater. The freshwaters are actually quite small. And
I don't think I'd heard of
your
freshwater
alligators, but they're really cool.
I don't
And then
heard
you've
of
got
the
the
saltwater
salties,
ones.
and the salties are bigger than the alligators, a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Fucking huge.
It still goes back to my favorite stupid law story because it occurred in the town I grew up in. There was actually a law on the books that said it was illegal to tie an alligator to a fire hydrant. And it came up because while I was growing up, some guy got a ticket for it. But he got his vet to go to court with him and testify that the animal in question was in fact a crocodile, not an alligator, and therefore the law had not been broken.
Sweet.
And the judge had to dismiss the case.
Australia decided
That's excellent.
a long time ago that having to fear for your life from a great white shark was not enough, so they made saltwater crocs.
To be fair, you're not likely to get attacked by a great white. The number of shark attacks around the world is fairly small compared to the number of people who go swimming.
I know.
There's more attacks in Australia from salties than there are from sharks.
Salties?
Well, yeah, but that has
crocodiles.
something to do with the fact that the sharks aren't prone to crawling up out of the water to come
Yeah,
after you.
the sharks can't follow you up on the land. The crocs can. And they're bloody fast in bursts. Crocs.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you don't run away from a...
Crocodiles and alligators can both be very fast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And you
they
don't
can
turn
sprint over
punch
short
a croc on its
distances.
nose. Which apparently is a thing you can do with sharks.
Of course, I had also
That's
read
what I
that
heard.
Australia has a golf course with probably the most dangerous water hazard in the world.
Oh, it'd have to be in Darwin then.
Well, it was something like, in like 2015 or something that it flooded. And when the water went down, some bull sharks got stranded in the pond there. And they not only survived, but they have been multiplying. So while it was only like 3 of them originally, at last count there were 8 of them.
Yeah, bull sharks are amazing.
That's why they call it a water hazard.
I don't know if it works with the crocodiles, but I know with alligators, you can actually hold their mouths shut because all the strength in their mouth and their jaws is in the closing.
Yeah,
Is
alligators and
Fighting down.
crocodiles, the muscles are the same.
Yeah, that's why you can use duct tape to make them safe.
Yeah. Still wouldn't like to be the person trying to catch it.
Hey, Clara.
Clara Barra.
But to be fair, I mean, people complain, say, oh, all those dangerous animals you have in Australia. It's no different to the dangerous animals you have in the US. We don't see them. If you live in a town area, you don't see the wildlife.
You don't have any big cats, do you?
We don't have any big cats. Our wild dog is a dingo, and it's basically a dog.
But dingo eats your baby.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah,
And you got the Sydney funnel webs.
You don't want to fuck with
Yes,
the
so
pet dog.
if you're on the East Coast, you might encounter a funnel web. Though to be fair,
Red.
funnel webs aren't as big as what people think they are, and they generally stay away from people. So the most important thing is tip your shoes upside down and give them a good bang to make sure the funnel webs fall out.
It would be neat to see wild cockatiels.
Yeah.
And what was it? There hasn't been, I don't think there's been a bite of anyone by a funnel web in about 15 years or something like that. And certainly no deaths in 30 years. But most of the
Redbacks
bites that did
are
happen
much more
previous to
common.
that were people would come in and find their dogs barking at this big black. Well, there's not that big, but yay big. These black spiders and panic because they'd realize it was a funnel web and then try to get their dog away or shoot the spider and then get bitten. But the funnel web's poison is only dangerous to us, basically.
Not to dogs.
Nope, not to dogs. It is only it is only deadly to apes, which is a weird thing for something in Australia to evolve, where the only apes they had to deal with was the Aboriginals.
Well,
so
but,
we have a spider that hated humans.
Well, even the
we're on the same
Aboriginals
fo-
really
we're
weren't
on the
there
same
long
street.
enough for them to develop that in evolutionary terms.
No, but apparently it's also effective on bats, and there are a lot of bats in Australia. So they think perhaps the funnel webs were hunting the microbats, and that's how they developed it.
Maybe we should bring over a few breeding pair of raccoons.
No. We have Tassie devils here. They're bad enough.
No, they're tiny.
Now, see, you're right that
they are tiny.
It is the difference with Australia and America, though, that you're saying that if you live in the cities, that you don't see the dangerous animals. In the U.S., bears wandering into the cities isn't that uncommon.
Yeah, but we don't have anything like a bear or a coyote or a big cat.
Dingoes.
We have dingoes, but dingoes will run away from humans unless they're, toddler size.
Do you know statistically what the most dangerous animal in North America is?
Horse.
Deer.
Oh, it's deer, is it?
Just because people hit them with their cars. I probably saw more than 15 deer carcasses on the way home.
But the most kangaroos here because of
the most deadly creature on earth is the mosquito.
Absolutely.
It carries so many deadly diseases.
It's a bug
the
they
most
carry.
deadliest big animal on earth is the hippopotamus.
Yep. Yeah. In Africa, hippos kill more people than alligators or lions.
Yep.
Most deadly animal in North America is something called the chimpanzee.
It's a cheetah. No, that's a cheetah face. It's shit gibbon.
Of course, the most deadly animal is humans, but non-human. We're talking about non-human.
Oh, and thank you, Scotland, for that one, and on calling Trump a cheetah-faced shit gibbon.
He's the human Cheeto. Well, he's not human, but...
Wait, did humans arrive in Australia 65,000 years
yes,
ago?
Approximately.
At least 50,000, possibly up to 100,000.
But they are not the Aboriginal people. There was two migrations of hominids into Australia. So the Aboriginal people came later and actually... much the same way as Homo sapiens got rid of Neanderthals, the same thing happened over here. So an earlier hominid race was decimated by Homo sapiens coming in later on when the Aboriginal.
Do you know which one it was? Was it the
I can't remember.
Denisovans or the
Australopithecus? Might have been. I don't remember. Only if they're in packs, Mark. A solitary dingo won't hunt a human.
Yeah, but on the same thing here, actually, Aaron Ra has a story about he was being hunted by a pack of coyotes.
You do not fuck with a pack of dogs. They are absolutely lethal.
Don't fuck with a mob of kangaroos either.
They can tear apart a lion.
As much as anybody might think kangaroos are cuddly and cute, they can kill people.
Yep.
And will kill people if you get in the way of their kids. So, so you go into a mob and there's a couple of big male kangaroos around, you'll get torn apart.
There was this one guy here in America who was a deer hunter, and he thought it would be a good idea to take some of the female deer scent and put it on himself.
That's
Oh,
not
no.
good.
Good
Oh,
for
jeez.
now.
He had that attraction for the male for the bucks. And well, sure
You
enough,
get
it worked.
rutted.
It worked,
Yeah.
and this buck came right up to him and tried to fuck him and tried to. When he resisted, they tried to horn him, and then it got up on its hind legs and it takes its front and starts to punch him out like a kangaroo does. And it just
That
beat the
sounds.
shit out of the guy.
That's when the
But
stag.
the
That's
hunt-
when the stag says to him, "You're not here for the hunting, are you, mate?"
There's
Hi,
there's
Jeff.
a great video out there about a guy skydiving in Australia. And just before he touches the ground, 3 kangaroos run up, kick the shit out of him, and run away.
Getting
Yeah.
mugged by a kangaroo.
Yeah, he never had a chance to get on his feet.
Yeah, you could just got to be so careful. I've seen so many people go, "Oh, if I saw a big mob of kangaroos, I go and no, you don't. You just don't. You don't, unless of course they're kangaroos that have been more or less bred in captivity and they're used to humans. You don't go in with them because not so much the females, but the males will tear you apart.
So how do you handle kangaroos if you find yourself face to face with one?
If you don't threaten them, you can generally get away from them. If it's a big red, they're bigger than you are, and you're fucked.
I tell you, I've seen a video of I've seen a video of living koala flipping like tear a massive chunk out of someone's leg. Actually,
koalas are vicious little shits.
Yeah,
grumpy.
yeah.
You're
They look
dumb as
cute.
fuck.
They look cute and cuddly, but yeah, that's deceiving.
Koalas have the smoothest brain of any mammal. It's
Apart
true
from
though. They're a smooth brain. They
apart
virtually
from
have no
politicians.
folds. Yeah,
Well, once again,
it's
we
because of
bring-
their
you're-
diet, because of eating eucalypts, which are basically poison.
And once
The
again, you're
eucalypt leaves are
describing
basically
from
poison.
the-
They did a panda. That they narrowed themselves into such a small niche of what they can eat, and what they can eat is basically poison. Their brains had to devolve so that they could cope with eating the food without it killing them. So koalas are as thick as shit.
And high all the time on eucalyptus leaves.
Yeah, pretty much. They're pretty much high all the time too, because they're eating poison. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
they're like
they're
the
dangerous when
animal
they're in
kingdom of.
drop bear mode, aren't they?
Sorry.
They're dangerous when they're in drop bear mode, aren't they? When
Yeah, you really wouldn't want one to fall on you. It would be
Slightly
really
different
bad if one
species.
fell on you.
Yeah, but
Watch
that's
out for the duck bears.
that's actually the whole thing with the koalas, is that stupidity is their survival strategy.
Oh, it is. Yeah,
You know,
it's
they're
amazing.
eating something that is
Or
such
it was.
horribly low nutrient that no other animal has any interest in it. But if you're eating something that's that low nutrient, you can't afford to develop a better brain.
And there's also the aspect that because they're eating something that is low nutrient and poisonous, they build up those toxins in their bodies, which deters other animals from eating them as well. I mean, they do get eaten, but
Well, yeah, there's a number
it's
of
rare.
animals that do that, just like the caterpillars
Yeah.
of the monarch butterfly. They
Yeah.
eat the milkweed and then they taste so bitter the birds won't bother them.
Oh, the butterfly
caterpillar. Is this a convergent evolution between koalas and sloths? Like they seem to have kind of similar lifestyles. So what do you want to call
Lifestyles.
it?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I would think that more so between koalas and panda bears.
Koalas are actually faster than sloths, so you think of them as only being slow moving, but koalas can actually run. They don't very often, but they can run. So that they're not just slow like a sloth, but they generally live a slow lifestyle because they don't get much nutrient. So because of that, they'll only run if they have to, and it's straight up another tree to get away from whatever predator was trying to get to them. And yeah, so they can run, whereas sloths don't at all.
And the
So-
koalas are dying off from chlamydia, so they're all.
Yeah, because koalas can move fast and they fuck like rabbits. Obviously, the sex part of their brain was part, their lust part of their brain was part that didn't devolve so that they could continue breeding fast. And that's what pretty much they eat, they fuck, they sleep.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what they do.
Sounds like a great life.
I was going to say, of course, introducing rabbits into Australia turned out to be a fucking disaster. So
yeah, well, we didn't really have anything that could kill them. That was the problem. I mean, the dingoes liked them, but there weren't enough dingoes to take care of the rabbits.
Jen, you really
And we kept killing the dingoes
whole
off.
existence, except my teddy bear's been complaining.
Sorry?
Never mind.
Yeah, sorry.
The thing is though, Australia did actually lose water to emus, so you know.
Oh, that's brilliant. That is, yeah.
Yeah.
The Great Emu War.
Great Emu War.
Yeah, and the Great Emu. Look, you can look this up. The emus actually won.
Yeah. To be fair, it's not like we put a lot of effort into fighting them either.
Hey, can I
threw
ask
a lot
you
of money at it, but we didn't do a lot.
Can I ask you, Andrew and Jen, an Australian question?
Yeah.
Or Mark Short, he's Australian too, right? Are you guys getting any news or paying attention, or are they talking at all about our insanity that's going on in the Congress right now to elect a speaker?
The whole thing about
this
would have been the first black speaker we've ever elected. That bit. I love your politics. It's a laugh a second.
Actually, there's been talk all along. You know, it was before it was just tongue in cheek, haha, of you know, well, why don't a couple of you Republicans come over and we only need 6 of you to give this guy enough votes and he can be speaker. But now people are starting to talk about it seriously, that they really want to start a campaign to make it happen. And
what is he
that
saying?
would be so great. Joaquin Jeffries.
It really would.
It's not fun to actually live in America and have to worry about what mood dear leader is in or how crazy the people in authority over you are. It's actually something that I am not particularly happy to live with.
Yeah, I could imagine that. I mean, I look at the getting back to the ridiculous trans panic stuff that the right wing are using to try and garner themselves votes around the world. And I look back to our last federal election where certain elements of the Liberal Party, which is our Conservative Party over here, tried to do the same thing, and then they get their asses handed to them at the federal election. I'm like, yeah, I like my country. My country turned around and said, well, that's bullshit.
Oh, and do you know what bullshit was going on here with our conservatives? They were looking at the word liberal, and they didn't know that words have different meanings or like parties change. So they were trying to they were basically accusing you guys of having concentration camps for people who didn't want to get vaccines because of the evil liberal prime minister.
Yeah, who happened to be conservative.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people are stupid and didn't realize that our Liberal Party is actually our Conservative Party.
Wait a minute. People are stupid? What?
Yeah. To be fair, our Liberal Party has never been a left-wing party. It was a centrist party that became right-wing.
Yeah, our Liberal Party is sort of the same. They're kind of center-right. And right now they're like in coalition with some conservative parties, but like, yeah, they're more leftist than the American Democratic Party, I think.
When do we get our cake, Perps?
Snowflakes.
I sent you yours, but I told you, you're in Australia. You have to expect about 3 months for delivery.
Oh,
And it'll be stale by the time
now.
it gets here.
I'm getting hungry myself.
That's Nick Fuentes. He's a real piece of shit. I animated a piece of shit with his voice.
But I think America.
Don't say that. Nick's a good guy.
It's the only good thing about American politics to me is that I can look at it and not feel quite so bad about where I fucking live. So.
Yeah, I'm saving a pile of money, and at some point I'm going to be trying to get out of cuckoo crazy land, because I think we got at least 2 more years before we're the fascist dictatorship that all of NATO needs to point missiles at.
Yeah.
Do you think Biden will lose the next?
My opinion is that there is a certain amount of awareness developing in the street culture in everyday America, where they're beginning to realize that these fuckers really are insane and they really are dangerous, and we can't let them run our country. And I think that this may have been their last hurrah to take the Congress or the House in this last election. I want to believe, it's a lot of belief more than fact, but I really want to believe that America, the voting majority of America will realize that these guys are genuine fascists. And
I think your voting majority probably does realize that. The problem is not all your voting majority shows up and votes.
Well, I think that's what I'm saying, is that I think that they're realizing it's serious enough that they absolutely must participate nowadays. That they can't just exist.
This is why conservatives don't like compulsory voting. I have heard so many conservatives in Australia go, we should really have first past the poll voting in Australia. Yeah, and why do you want that? Because it's the only way you'll consistently get elected.
Yeah, I mean, we made a big mistake. We made a big mistake, I think, in retrospect, where we because there was where there was a referendum in Britain to have a similar sort of system to like Australia's got with voting, but it failed quite badly actually. But I don't think it was explained very well to the British public. But it's also the fact that it was the Liberal Democrats who were proposing this, and everyone was kind of pissed at them at the time, and everyone sort of was like, well, yeah, everybody knows that they're likely to be everybody's second choice. So, so it seemed like they were going to benefit the most from it. So.
Yeah, I honestly think if you had a voting system like we do in the UK, the Tories would hardly ever be in power.
No, yeah.
And that's true here too, and that's why they're fighting so hard.
Well, the Liberals are like the 4th biggest party in our parliament now. They used to be the 3rd, but
wow, Jeff vaporized.
Yeah.
Or did I
sneezed him off the planet? That's what it was.
I thought that was fiction.
In America, we have the same situation that if it was just pure numbers without all the manipulation that the Republicans have done to the voting system, that they would lose every election for the last 20 years because there's just more liberals in the country than there are Nazis.
I think even the British Tory Party are in awe of the gerrymandering that's been done in America. To be honest, so
Yeah, there are people who can talk about Bill Gates giving you zaps in your tummy if you eat real cheeseburgers, and they're very powerful. I'm talking about Marjorie Trailer shit.
No, I took a look at the gerrymandering that happened in Ohio. It was so bad that the conservative Ohio State Supreme Court said these maps are too gerrymandered. Fix them, and the GOP refused. So now we have people like Jim Jordan in power, and his shit. I just had the word on the tip of my tongue. The area that he represents is like a fucked up mixture of the letter L and the letter C. Instead of, I don't know, a block.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
I am feeling optimistic about 2024 because I think at this point there's a very good chance that the Republicans will name DeSantis for their candidate, and Trump will have his ego hurt and decide that he's going to start his own Patriot Party that he's talked about. So if Trump starts a third party and takes 30% of the Republican base with him, then it doesn't much matter who the Democrats run, they're going to win.
That would be the one advantage for you of not having preferential voting, is that someone like Trump could absolutely decimate the Republican Party.
It would be nice to see it work that way for a change, because all the other times that there's been a strong third party candidate, it's handed it to the Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of fucked up.
See, that's the positive that's been going on, is that Fox News is beginning to turn against Trump, and you know, they're still sucking his dick, but they definitely are coming out with things from time to time that
they are, Jenny. How can they possibly suck something they can't find?
Well, they have tweeted.
Hashtag small dick energy.
Well, not on about Tiny Tate again, are we?
Yeah, we're on about Tiny Tate.
I laughed when I saw the latest news that his fleet of luxury sports cars have been confiscated.
Yes.
Oh, what
Yes,
a shame.
he now has the world's largest collection of impounded cars.
The Romanian police now have the world's fastest squad car called the Bugatti Byron.
Well, I just came across this article here. Ex-deputy who helped his wife serve semen-laced cupcakes to students pleads guilty to the spate of sex crimes.
Yes.
Among the most headline-grabbing of his criminal acts is a mingling of harmful substances charge. Perkins and his wife, 36-year-old Cynthia T. Perkins, used his semen to season in cake batter, which she then served to students at West Side Junior High School, where Cynthia had been previously employed as an English teacher. Authorities said that Perkins filmed himself making the revolting concoction.
Wow, that's disgusting.
That is really disgusting.
Dennis Falls Perkins was sentenced to 100 years in state prison on Tuesday after the former Livingston Parish sheriff's deputy and SWAT commander pleaded guilty to one count of second-degree rape, 2 counts of sexual battery of a child, one count of video voyeurism, 2 counts of production of pornography involving children under the age of 13, and 1 count of mingling of harmful substances, as officials announced.
Jeez.
What was that? What was that thing that? What we were pointing about? Something about the groomers and all that.
It's just people having a normal day, isn't it?
Well, statistically speaking, I think everyone here knows it, that the group that fritters kids the most is clergy, and then the next is straight men who go after little girls, and then the next is hot teachers who have relations with the teenage boys, and then it's strangers in every other group.
Yeah.
One thing that shocks the hell out of me every time I hear it is when you have a female teacher who is diddling with one of her 16-year-old students and fucking like crazy, like Mary Kate Letourneau, is the big one that everybody probably remembers. It's just, you don't think a woman is going to do something like that, and it's just really upsetting to me.
In reality, it probably just happens as often as the men who do it. It's just that it's less likely to get reported.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, rape is unlikely to get reported in the first place. Child rape is even harder to get reported because of the fear that the predators install in their victims. So if you then add in the fact that the chances of a boy admitting that he's been raped by his female teacher is very, very unlikely.
No, he's not going to report
more
his
likely
rape.
to be-
He's going to report on how much fun he had banging the teacher.
Yeah.
Probably
yeah,
because
they brag on it, if anything.
yeah.
I mean, imagine, when any of us were 16-year-olds, if we would have fucked the hottest teacher in the school, you'd be bragging your ass off.
No.
When I was 16, if I got with the hottest teacher I had, it would have been my English teacher at the time.
Yeah, for me, it would have been Miss Homley. She was like 24 and just hotter than fuck. I mean, she's just unbelievable. She actually got sent home because her skirt was too short.
I had a teacher that was like that. It was actually also my English teacher. She wore a skirt to school one day, and she told a student that she had another skirt that was way too short to wear to school. And it's like, okay, you understand that that's inappropriate banter with a student, right? We were 14.
Oh, see, that wouldn't have been in my day. That's been perfectly acceptable conversation. I'm serious. I'm dead serious.
Well,
I've been on the receiving end of being asked not to wear a short skirt to work. So
really,
my ex went to a special high school for girls that were pregnant. And when they found out one of the teachers was gay, they fired him. And I'm like, what is the logic there that you have a school full of girls who you know are sexually active, and you're going to fire the one man who you know would have absolutely no interest in doing anything with them?
Yeah.
You might turn them lesbian.
Disease, and they can catch it.
You got to remember, always keep in mind that Americans, and I really think it's this serious. Americans are fearful of sex. Okay, that there are so many negative images that you're fed as a child and stuff about how dangerous it is, and diseases, and it's a sin, that I think American children grow up fearing sex. And
well, that's the real indoctrination that, and that really does come, from the Christian background, that they want to make sure all the girls are virgins when they're married.
And why would you want to marry somebody who's completely inexperienced? I want some babe that's going to.
Yeah, I've never really understood.
The only explanation I can come to for that is that men want to marry a woman with no experience so that she doesn't realize how bad he is at it.
Well, that's true too.
Well, anthropological, as far as how the behavior, the preference would develop, it's more or less you have someone who in the ancient world, mainly men, would be responsible for being the breadwinner, even though there were women who did stuff. You have to admit that in the ancient Bronze Age world, men through force or whatever basically
mostly religion, actually.
But anyway, they would want to make sure that she wasn't carrying another man's kid because he would have to take care of it, blah, blah, blah. I think that's probably the root of it. All these traditions, so to speak, have some grounding in there was once a reason, and the main reason can get lost.
Yeah, if you're the one banging her, you can be pretty sure that it's your kid.
Yeah, the whole thing about the churches recognizing marriages was just to have a record of who's entitled to inherit the property when the guy dies.
Yep.
My impression was that
all information with the church and stuff.
My impression was that it was because earlier on, women are essentially thought of as livestock.
Yep.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Still are.
Yep. By a lot of men.
And
I can't
Jewish
believe-
marriages are a contractual agreement where both sides have obligations laid out beforehand. So it was more like a business. Oh,
Hello.
I
That's
can't.
Jenny's.
Oh, hi.
I love dragonflies, and this one looks so goofy.
Oh, okay. I thought my
Aw.
entire thing dropped. I think that's actually a beautiful, wonderful, cute little picture.
That's
Yeah.
actually
it's okay.
I just did that because I wanted to get a better look at it again.
Yeah.
The but
smiling.
That is actually a damselfly, not a dragonfly.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
You know the difference between dragonflies. Well, first of all, damselflies are really tiny compared to dragonflies, but dragonflies always rest their wings out straight. Damselflies fold them back.
Have them
You
vertical.
can't really see the wings here.
Yeah.
You ever
Although it-
seen
He
the
looks really
Carnival
happy
different.
though. He's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I'm happy.
They're very
I
cute.
just got laid."
I like them because they have that stunning blue
I'd be
color.
happy
It
too.
is
if I
just.
got laid.
I just like any-
dragonflies used to get the size of eagles during the Carboniferous.
Yeah, I've heard that. I wonder if they were.
Yeah.
edible.
Mm.
Well,
Well,
dragonflies
you can get
got to be
insects to
that-
grow bigger now. You just
Yeah.
have to put them in oxygen-rich environments.
Mhm.
True.
Have
So
we done
even
that?
modern insects will grow to at least double their normal size if you put them in a really good oxygen-rich environment, because that's the main limiting factor to insects, because they don't have lungs and they have to they basically breathe through their skin.
See,
You have
the
to
lar-
have enough oxygen for it to work to get big enough.
the largest dragon.
don't have
The
lungs.
largest
Isn't it
Well,
like little holes, like capillaries
Yeah.
or something, like little holes that
Yeah.
goes in? Yeah.
The largest dragonfly discovered had a wingspan of 710 millimeters and lived in the early Permian period, some 280 million years ago.
How big was the wingspan?
710 millimeters.
I,
3/4 of a meter.
Ooh.
I want
I'm
them
afraid
to
you
start
keep
trying
dropping
to
out the
breed
first-
giant dragonflies
you keep-
again.
You keep dropping out on the first syllable. How much?
3/4 of a meter, roughly, approximately three. It was
Yeah,
three.
I
It
know
was
what
0.723 mil. It was 0.723 meters.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
about 30 inches.
Yep. Yeah, so
Mm.
about 2.5 feet.
Version
Although at
2.
the same time, they also had millipedes that grew to be 7 to 8 feet long.
Conversion
And
is about
they know about this because they found a fossil, but they realized that the fossil they found that would have been one more than 7 feet long was actually part of the shell it had shed while molting. So that one was still growing.
for the
Wow.
conversion, it'd be about 2.3 feet or 27.95 inches.
Damn.
Yeah, but they wouldn't survive now because we've got way more carbon dioxide in our atmosphere. So
Yeah.
as global warming gets worse and we put more carbon in the atmosphere, our insects will get smaller.
I guess that's
You know,
a
I'm thinking
plus.
that a cockroach might hit 3 feet. Could you keep him as a pet?
Well,
I don't know.
People
Would
have
you want to? Really? Would you want to?
I can think of a few.
people actually do. You can
No.
buy them at the pet store.
That's
Not
there
3
are,
foot
there
long
are,
ones though.
there
No,
are
not 3 foot
cockroaches
long.
you can buy.
Those are
Hey,
those hissing cockroaches, right?
Yep.
I keep
Wet as
saying
well.
that's one of the
Might be.
biggest advantages to living where the temperature gets so cold is it keeps the bugs small. They don't have a chance to grow that big up here.
I once had a.
That's why we don't get those 3-inch cockroaches you get down in Florida.
I
Yeah,
keep
I would.
telling you this. You do get 3-inch cockroaches up here. They are here. I have seen them. I have captured them. I have killed them. They are
I once.
Have you eaten them?
long.
Yeah.
They're-
Yeah, I once took a sledgehammer to a cockroach and it crawled away.
Oh God!
Ow.
I put one in a sealed jar, no air holes, in a freezer for a month and a half, and it walked away. they're
I
almost
pulled all the legs off one and it didn't walk away.
There's a colony of radioactive cockroaches that are running around Los Alamos. They basically subjected them
I
to
don't
fallout.
set the world on fire.
Oh, and the
It's a
Oh
Fallout
yeah,
reference.
fallout.
oh, and the female
Fallout.
cockroaches fly. Yeah, yeah, and the female cockroaches fly,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a
Well, that's
tendency
like-
to fly right at your face.
Yeah. Well, it's like they've always said, isn't it? There's only two things that are ever going to survive a nuclear war: cockroaches and Keith Richards.
I thought it was Twinkies.
The Mythbusters found bugs that would survive nuclear radiation better than cockroaches, but I
Weren't they
forget.
experimenting with Betsy flies or something?
Well,
They
whatever
were experimenting with a bunch of bugs.
Whatever happens to the world, cockroaches will survive longer than humans, because if nothing else, cockroaches will eat two things humans won't eat: cockroaches and humans.
There are humans that will eat both of those things.
Yeah, you can buy cockroaches to eat. Oh, and in Florida, you don't want to throw bricks at the insects. You're just arming them.
And to be fair, anyone here who eats chocolate has eaten a cockroach.
Oh,
Yep.
There's a certain amount of contaminants that's allowed in chocolate, and most of it is
Yeah.
cockroach.
Well, in the U.S., in any food you eat, the FDA has allowed for how many parts per million of bugs can be in it.
Sir Sick did mentioned this, that one of his friends worked at some kind of bakery, and you could legally take a deuce in the food, and because there was so much of it, it would still be legal.
Mm.
lovely.
I mean, to be fair, all those processed foods are so strained and mulched and everything that, yeah, you're not going to notice the texture of anything like that, but there is a certain amount of that in it.
Well, and yeah, and the mass-produced stuff that's produced in such huge quantities. I mean, if you're just putting in a pound or two of some contaminant, that it's going to be such a tiny fraction of a percent. It's not going to be noticeable in any way.
Yeah. I mean, of course, if you geez, my train of thought just derailed. Never mind.
All food probably has some amount of shit that we wouldn't want to hear that is in it. Like, yeah.
Well, you'll drink water, but most of it's not that filtered.
So chocolate is homeopathic cockroaches, okay?
Yeah, homeopathic cockroaches. Yeah, that was the word I was looking at. That left my brain. Homeopathy. Yep. So if you believe in homeopathy, you probably shouldn't eat chocolate.
Okay, back to peanut butter. Peanut butter can have 9 rat hairs per 100 grams. I just thought that was good to loop around, since peanut butter is where we started from.
Okay. I'm still hungry, so.
Gotta go to bed. Good night,
Would you
everybody.
like some raspberry with that?
Well, actually, we've been going for
Just
about
say,
3
did
hours
you just
here.
say if anyone from the food company? Yeah, I was just saying to anyone from the food companies, this is what you're allowed to have. This isn't a recommended amount, though.
Yeah.
So you know.
Yeah.
Have you had your recommended daily requirement of cockroach rat hairs?
And it's the same with any processed food. If you think that all your processed food is 100% without contaminants, then you're living in a delusion there. Because even your milk, the milk lines have to be cleaned in between processing different types of milk, so for bottling. And they clean that not just with hot water. They actually put a cleaning thing through it. Now, so there's got to be a certain amount of cleaning agent that ends up in your milk. Yeah, I mean, it's tiny, tiny amount, but it's going to be there.
Yeah, well, that's why this stuff is measured in parts per million.
Yeah.
Same as if you have a beer in a pub, quite frankly.
Yeah. Yeah, because nothing's perfectly clean. You know, you eat in a restaurant, the plates might have been through the dishwasher, but there's no guarantee it's 100% clean.
Homeopathy is dangerous. If you forget you take your medication, you'll overdose.
Yeah.
Anyway, fish fucking water. But by the rules of homeopathy, you're basically taking fish spunk all the time.
Yeah.
I always, I don't know how many of you guys see it, but I always like that Mitchell and Webb thing of like homeopathic ER. Like, that is hilarious.
Yeah, well,
That's so funny.
Every drop of water on the planet has been recycled millions of times by now. So any water you drink at some point was dinosaur piss.
Every atom in your body is recycled from somewhere else.
I prefer the more romantic.
Well, yes, we are
Carl
made of
Sagan
star
thing,
stuff.
but
Yeah,
What's that?
we're all stardust, in other words. Yeah. But, I mean, the surface of the Earth is only a tiny, tiny fraction of the entire mass of the Earth. So we've all had multiple atoms go through us that have been through other people alive and dead. Because it's all recycled.
Yeah, the atmosphere is just like a thin skin, and the amount of water is even less.
If we're going to talk about weird facts, here's a good one. Where does 99% of the mass of a tree come from?
I would guess water, but
no.
I would guess it's the stuff that's on the soil around it.
Nope.
Cellulose?
Well, yes, but where does the cellulose? Where does most of that mass come from?
The air.
Exactly.
Donald
the carbon
Trump's
that the tree
ass.
pulls out of the air.
I was going to get the air too.
Yeah. So it's the carbon that the plant pulls out of the air is mostly what the tree is. That's why plants are such good carbon stores, because they pull the carbon out of the air to grow. So that's where most of their mass comes
I
from.
knew that.
It's one of those things that once you hear it, or you've really thought about it, you go, yeah, that makes sense. But most people say, oh, it obviously comes out of the ground. But no, the tree is much bigger than the hole it makes in the ground.
Okay, I see what you reposted here. Your bub of the firefighter getting handcuffed.
yeah,
And
that's
when
a great
we
story, isn't it?
and when we burn off,
I'll have to watch that later.
Yeah, what's Andrew
Yeah,
saying?
there was a firefighter, I don't remember where, got handcuffed because he didn't park the fire truck right. This was this was as this firefighter was actively saving lives. Cops rolled up and handcuffed him because he was the driver of the fire truck. And he didn't park it right.
So you're doing emergency work in a fire truck, and now the cops say you have to park properly. Fuck off.
Yeah. I remember it's somewhere in the American South. I just don't remember exactly where.
Of
I'll have to
course,
watch
it's in
this
the
later.
US.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. Cops in this country.
Yeah, to say the least, that is ridiculous.
Then again, we're talking about people that are trained the same way that slave catchers were 200 years ago.
Well, and the numbers came out that in the U.S., police officers killed more people last year than ever before.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
is that per capita or?
Well, that's just as far as number of deaths within the U.S.
Jeez.
Do you know if the rate per capita has changed?
I'm not sure. I didn't get to read the whole thing yet because I was looking at it just before this.
Okay.
Yeah, let me listen to the video and I'll be able to tell you.
Yeah, go ahead.
The stupidity of some people just amazes me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go look that story up a bit later. That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, well, we definitely do need a drastic overhaul of the police departments. Unfortunately, we didn't get anywhere with it because defund the police was a bad slogan, and because they managed to push it that it was only affecting black people, so most of the people just didn't really care. Now, if they had kept bringing up the point that the cops killed over 1,000 white people every year, something would have happened.
Yeah. Better trained cops. That's what you need.
Well, it's not just the training, it's the whole organization.
It's
You know,
so
it's
structured.
how they're hired and, you know, that the
Well,
department
most of
protects
your
them.
cop systems are basically private, aren't they? So
Let's see.
the local government outsources the police to private companies, more or less.
Oh,
so they're basically just thugs for hire.
That's interesting.
No, I don't think that's really that common, not in U.S. cities.
Number of people shot to death by police in the United States from 2017 to 2022 by race. And in 2022, we had 1,061, and white was the top at 374 deaths, with black being only 220.
When you were reading that, I heard that as number of people shot. But there's a huge difference between the number shot and the number killed by police.
Number of people shot to death by the police in the United States from 2017 to 2022.
Yeah, but a lot of people are killed by being beaten to death. They're not shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just not looked
for
after
anyone
in prison.
So for anyone who's curious, the retweet that was mentioned that I posted was in Chula Vista, California. Just in case you're curious.
So basically, you'll be more if you're white, you're more likely to be shot by a cop.
Not actually true.
well, just looking at the statistic right there.
Well, if you're looking at the statistic as a one-to-one thing, if white people took up the same amount of population,
okay.
We need to talk per capita.
Yeah,
and the number of black people being shot per capita is much higher than white people.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
Why is it always per capita? The lowercase ones don't count?
Oh. And with that, we
give her a sad rim shot. If ever a sad rim shot was deserved, that's it.
Gotta love it.
What was that, Jenny? Didn't quite hear you.
No, I gotta love it.
Beck, I think the firefighter was white, but
he was.
Part of me thinks it's a weird power trip, I think, on the part of the cop.
Yeah. I mean, if you see a fire engine, that's just not a rational response.
It's not. And when you see a car overturned, which you will in the video, you don't think, hey, let's arrest the firefighter. You think, hey,
it's not like cops are. And it's not like cops are making sure that they're driving perfectly and parking perfectly.
Oh, good Lord.
Very rarely do they do. The number of times I've seen cops put their lights on just so they can drive through traffic lights.
Yep.
No.
You know how you're saying? Sorry.
I was a cop in the Air Force, and we were some of the most corrupt fuckers out there. There's a reason we made a joke about ourselves being thieves, because we steal fucking everything.
This story sounds like that the fire engine thing. That sounds like the police training video was they used the Keystone Cops or something. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, Bob, wasn't it a police department somewhere in Ohio that 450 pounds of marijuana went missing from the evidence room and nobody had any clue what happened?
Apart from the ones who smoked it. Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about, actually, but Alex would love to at least have one of those pounds to themselves.
Yeah, but it's like 450 pounds. This isn't just one person walking out with a bag full.
Yeah,
no
one's walking out with a dime
aren't there
bag.
supposed
No
to be
one's walking out with
cameras?
pistols.
Yeah, aren't there supposed to be like cameras in the evidence locker and that to see who goes in there?
You can turn cameras off though, Kurt.
But that's what I mean, though. It had to be somebody in the department who had to plan all this out and get help from a couple of buddies.
Back your
Might
truck
not even
around the
have
back of
paid
the
to
ambulance locker. We've got some stuff to get.
Yeah. We gotta examine this evidence, like all of it.
Yeah.
And let's be fair, the cops could make a lot of money. You know how they sell off all the other captured goods they get? If they just sold off their drugs, the cops could make a fortune.
Yeah, especially when
the department doesn't get a cut.
Yeah, because the cops are going to get some of that 450 pounds back after it's sold on the legal market. Because let's face it, in Ohio, as fucked as Ohio is, casual consumption is legal. You're allowed to get fucked up just because you want to.
There was an old comedy sketch by a pair of comedians called Smith and Jones, actually, in Britain, where they did thing out like there was like the police station. There's a table full of drugs on there, and there's the cop saying to his to everyone in the room. So what you have here is cocaine with an estimated street value of £100,000. The next thing is, do I have £100,000? 110 to the next bidder. Yeah. But hey, we're not allowed to have weed in this country yet. Britain's like the biggest exporter of marijuana in the world. How the fuck that works, I don't know.
Yeah, we're not allowed to have it here yet either. Well, supposedly you can if you've got a note from your doctor.
Yeah.
But they've written the laws in such a way that all the doctors are afraid to prescribe it.
See, we can't even get medicinal. I mean, they changed the rules slightly on CBD. There was a test case about this, but actual like dispensaries that you don't see that in the UK. That's not allowed. They won't even. Yeah, it's British companies are like the biggest exporters of medicinal marijuana in the world.
Oh,
A lot of the stuff that's in America comes from Britain. So it's like, talk about a double standard here. Like we ain't. It's like either marijuana's got medicinal value or it doesn't. So if it's got medicinal value, allow us to use it. If it doesn't, maybe stop being the world's biggest drug dealer.
Well, that's like Jim Beam bourbon is made in a dry county.
Mm-hmm.
They can't drink it in the county they produce it in.
Same with Jack Daniels.
The federal government also grows some of the best pot on the planet. All kinds of pot for nationally for the government.
When I was last in Kentucky, so this was 20 years ago. I must admit, but I seem to remember Bourbon County was dry and Christian County was wet. That I don't know why that made me chuckle.
Fair.
Who's here with the pretty avatar? The butterfly. Who is that? Clara.
That's Clara.
Oh, why didn't I see that before? That's gorgeous.
She's
It's a
been
Pokemon.
changed.
Pokemon.
How did you get it so full
It's very
frame?
green.
It's a Pokemon.
What? Yeah. I'm using OBS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
Actually,
probably how
though,
Mage is doing it too.
This
I'm
last
using-
summer,
I-
Minnesota got even stranger about it. That while we still can't have marijuana, you can now legally buy gummies with THC in them.
I'm using Split Cam.
Oh yeah, that's right. You have it too. Wisconsin is well.
I
The
can do it
governor.
as well.
The governor is working on getting the Democratic governor is trying to get the Republican legislature to legalize marijuana. And there's actually talk on the Republican side that this is probably a good idea because they're looking at tax incentives and stuff.
Mm.
That would be great.
Yeah,
And
well,
then it's
financially, of course, the government's going to make money off of it.
It actually seems to be the one area in the United States where you're a lot further ahead on the history than we are, to be honest. We can't even seem to have a sensible debate about it in this country.
Is prostitution legal in UK?
No.
Ha.
Damn, we at least have a city.
We got you there too, as long as you're in Nevada.
Yeah, true.
Well, I think what it is maybe that the U.S. is starting to pass this because it's like, okay, you can't get medical treatment, but maybe you can get so high that you won't care anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I'll
one of
take
the
it.
reasons it was made illegal back in the 20s and 30s. Is the drug companies said we can't make any money if you let this out on the street.
Yeah, I use CBD to help control my arthritis.
Oh, I missed too fast. You switched too fast.
What, Bex? It says what's all over Texas are CBD shops.
Oh, I see. Oh, what it's all over Texas. I thought stupidity was the answer. Don't laugh. It is for Ohio too.
Oh, I know. There's a reason my fiance is a political fucking refugee.
Yeah, Ohio really does have it set up his ass.
You don't say.
Yeah, I
tried
don't
to
get why.
unfuck it, but it's so badly gerrymandered up here.
Purple,
I really don't get why Minnesota is so far behind with the marijuana because it's a pretty progressive state for everything else.
Yeah, when I went to go visit, like I was on my way back to the hotel from Mall of America, and I could have swore on my way back I saw like a hemp maze.
Really?
That sounds
That
cool.
actually sounds cool. I want to go. One
Yeah.
of them.
You wouldn't mind getting lost in there, would you?
Yeah, if you get lost, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. As long as I have plenty of spots along the way so you can buy munchies. It'd be
If
cool.
you get lost, just burn your
I
way
don't get,
out.
we're just going to say we'll just smoke our way out. Yeah. We'll get out of this one joint at a time.
See, that's what I was thinking. Like, what if you get like high, like, and never find your way out?
Actually, back in the 20s and 30s, Wisconsin was one of the biggest producers of marijuana.
No.
Because, well, not marijuana, but the hemp.
Hemp, yes.
Because they used the hemp for most of the military equipment.
Really?
You know, the rope.
Rope making, hemp rope is extremely strong, and they were making the big 1-inch, 2-inch, 3-inch rope for Navy ships and stuff.
Well, the rope and also the fabric that most of the army tents were made from hemp.
Well, the sprouts, the leaves, and the flowers of hemp can be eaten as food, raw. So I guess you won't starve to death if you get lost.
I wouldn't want to chew on a hemp stem. That'd be like eating a popsicle stick.
No, not the stem. The leaves, the sprouts, and the flowers.
Oh,
Well, yeah, and I'm sure that May just talked about them freshly cut, not after they're dried.
Yeah, raw as a raw food.
could you see Julia Child making a salad? Well, a little watercress and a little iceberg and let's sprinkle some marijuana on there too.
Makes you wonder if Cookie Monster was only into hemp cookies because the way he behaved.
Mhm.
Well, he did have a perpetual case of the munchies.
He did.
Mhm.
And he was always about his cookies, and they
Yes.
were special, and nobody else was allowed his cookies. And
Well, when he went through a veggie phase, what was he high on then?
Oh,
Well,
that's another
they
cute one.
tried, but yeah.
That's cute too.
really, they
Clara.
tried to make Cookie a vegetarian.
Well, it looks like Oscar should have. Cookie Monster should have shared with Oscar. The damn grouch.
Mhm.
Oscar was originally orange.
What?
Oscar the Grouch was originally orange.
No.
No, I don't believe you.
No,
No,
he didn't
I-
change.
I think he might have been actually. Yeah. Well,
Mage.
Where did you
but-
get that from, Mage?
That seems
All
to
right,
ring a bell to
I
me.
need pics now.
I'm working on it.
Mhm.
I mean, I know Sesame Street started in the era when it was black and white, so it is quite possible that they made him orange because it stood out better on camera.
You know what I'd
Yeah.
like to do? I would like to get a lookup contest between Mage and Ox.
Okay, it says
By
the
the way-
original concept drawings for Oscar the Grouch were orange, but by the time the
Mhm.
series premiered, he was green.
Ah,
Aha.
No, they-
okay, there we go.
I haven't really
No, they
watched
actually do have
Sesame
images
Street.
of him. They do have
Oh,
images of.
No, yeah, it does say he was orange for the premiere and was
There.
changed to green for the second season.
There he is, right there.
Oh wow.
Orange.
So, but nobody would have known he was orange because the first season was in black and
In
white.
black and white.
So,
Mhm.
See, right there.
one
Orange.
thing-
so
by
my
the way-
question remains then: was he made orange because it stood out better on camera than being green? And when they went to color,
Yeah.
it was decided green would look better.
Was the first season in black and white, or did it start out in color?
No, I think you find the first season was black and white, or at least
When
most
was
people
the
would have
first
seen it in black and white.
I was just saying,
When was the
it
first season?
probably would have been color TV, but a lot of people probably
Yeah.
still had black and white sets.
That's yeah,
Mhm.
probably the case, and probably why I don't remember it. Because yeah, we had black and white TV until I was.
I don't remember it because I wasn't old enough.
Oh, I was the target
Oh,
audience when Sesame
California.
Street premiered. I was
Ah,
5 years old when Sesame Street premiered, so I was.
When did
the
it
target
premiere?
audience. 1969.
Yeah. See, I had 4 years to go before I was born. So,
Yeah, I was a freshman in high school.
jeez.
I don't think it was actually on.
I had a question about Sesame. I had a question about Sesame Street. Like it didn't. It might have aired here when I was little, but I didn't get whatever channel it was on. Anyway, one thing I'm curious about: what gender is Elmo? Like, is Elmo a boy or a girl, or is it like
Almost
genderless
boy,
or-
because
He's a boy.
Zoe's like his girlfriend.
Who?
Okay,
Elmo's boy,
Elmo.
and Zoe's like his girlfriend. So, and Zoe's
Elmo
most
is
definitely
beloved.
a
Who
girl.
cares about the gender?
And
He's
therefore he has
a
to be a
puppet.
boy.
Elmo doesn't have any
Oh.
genitals.
I will
Yeah,
say
Not
yeah.
only
that.
that,
Elmo
Elmo
is-
has a man's hand up his ass.
Let's
so-
just say that the last time the annual Rocks debacle came out, that clip went around quite virally amongst a lot of atheists. Tell Elmo Rocco's just a rock.
Elmo is an MB.
Elmo's an MB.
Mhm.
But I think Elmo does identify as male, so
They refer to Elmo as
Mhm.
he.
yeah.
Okay, then he's a mask. And
Before they finish, because Sesame Street's done now, isn't it? They ended it last year, didn't they?
It's no longer on PBS. Unfortunately, it got sold to HBO.
Oh, so they're still making it.
Yeah,
So-
they're still making it, but you need to, have one of the higher tier cable packages to watch it.
But they
Oh,
did
that's crap.
introduce a non-binary puppet, didn't they, into it?
Yeah.
No, but at one point, I think his name is. I'll get back to that. I forget the name of the puppet.
Yeah, I'm sure I remember something about them introducing a non-binary puppet, and I also remember all the people getting really, really upset that Disney suggested that Gonzo might be non-binary.
hey, people are still upset at the Teletubbies.
Oh,
These Republicans never let go.
the original Cookie Monster was nice. Nightmare Fuel. Check that out.
Yeah.
What they had him have teeth?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Oh, that is terrifying.
It
No
probably
wonder they
did-
removed them.
It probably didn't do well in test markets.
Yeah, imagine.
So what
I
are they
wonder if
replacing Sesame Street with on SBS? PBS,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, Beck knows.
Yeah, Beck's right.
Beck knows. the
Elmo's a
truth.
twink and Zoe's butch.
Well, actually, a couple of the characters like Kermit and Cookie Monster were on TV quite a ways before Sesame Street.
Mm.
They actually started out in the late 50s doing commercials. Folgers Coffee was one of them.
Yep.
I think I've seen one of those old Folgers coffee ones with Kermit the Frog, like the black and white one.
Well, originally
Yep.
Kermit the Frog wasn't a frog.
The
He was a
No,
Muppet,
he
lizard.
was just kind of, nondescript.
the Muppet started out as just a like a bit a variety show type act, like Ed Sullivan or something
Yeah.
like that. And
Yeah,
they
yeah.
were revolutionary because they're called Muppets because they're part man and part puppet, and because
Yeah.
it would take 2 or 3 guys to run one, and they were,
They were
so,
the Simpsons of
Yeah.
the 60s,
Yeah,
50s and
yeah.
60s. That's what they were.
Mhm.
That they started out in guest appearances in other shows and then ended up.
Yeah, their original show was Sam and Friends, and it only ran 11 minutes once a week.
Jim Henson used to be on every damn talk show out there as a guest spot. That's why everybody knew who he was, and we're so sad when he died.
Mhm.
He was like just a national figure kind of guy. That was sad.
And the whole Oscar Grouch, there's actually an in-universe explanation for the color changes that is actually this grime on him. He's just really dirty, so he's actually still orange. He's just
Oh,
Really good. Oh, so hang on. He's basically a sloth.
yeah, basically.
Yeah. So he became green because he's got lichen
Because he-
growing on him.
Yeah, because he never
Algae.
sleeps.
So what you're telling us is he hasn't taken a shower since 1969.
Yes.
Okay.
well, neither have I. Is it required or what?
I was going to ask, is that a bad thing?
When you can grow cheese in every crevice, then you know you need a shower.
Or start up a business?
There's already some of those. Let's please not.
Really? No.
There is a business of a woman who bakes bread with the yeast from her own. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah,
Like,
no,
Might
that,
not
I
be
there's
forgot
a couple
about
of shops that
terrible
sell
smell.
ice cream made from human milk.
There is a
I'm
king
not
for
so-
that. There is
I'm not
absolutely a king for that.
The yeast, if it does cook long enough, it's sterile, and you don't have to worry about that. It's just kind of gross to think about.
Yeah.
Same with the breast milk for ice cream.
Hey, the yeast came from somewhere originally, even with the ones that we cook.
And when you think about it, what would you rather suck on for your milk? A tit or a cow?
Yeah.
Good point.
And anyone who's going, obviously
This
is,
is not it.
if you've
This is
ever
not a
gone
TMI
down on a
show.
woman, then you've basically done the same thing anyway. So
This is not the TMI show. I'll shut up. The TMI show was yesterday.
this conversation has gone disgusting. I take full responsibility.
I'm going to say it normally
it's
is you,
absolutely
Jen,
your
to be
fault.
fair. It
I
normally
don't
is
mind,
Jen's
but
fault.
it is your fault.
Beck's got a great idea. That's what we should
Oh.
do: is get OnlyFans for like Oscar or Elmo or somebody.
Children's character. Ew.
I am not
Can we get back
recommending
to
to
the
anyone that you go on DeviantArt and search Muppets. That's all I'm saying.
No.
I have seen things I wish I could unsee.
See old,
We've all seen
Rule
Avenue
34.
Q. We've all seen puppets have sex. It's fine.
Can we talk about the milk instead? That's less disgusting.
What, making ice cream from women's milk?
Yeah, that's less
It's
disgusting
the same
than
thing.
the
It's still,
puppets having
yeah,
sex.
but I mean, it's only in your head that it's a problem because, I mean, babies drink it all the
because-
time. What's the difference? It's not unhygienic or anything.
Yes.
Well, it
Yes,
was
I'm
meant
saying
for.
that it is better. I'm saying that it is better than the sex puppets having sex. I'm saying that it is an improvement to talk about that.
I'm going to say you probably don't want to watch Team America then.
Oh yeah, another thing where we've seen puppets have sex.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
And the Three Balls. If you want to see really gross puppet
it also
stuff,
has
watch
the
the
greatest
Three Balls.
vomit scene of all time.
Well, it's simply a fact that anytime you've seen any of the Muppets on screen, somebody's had their hand up their ass.
Mm-hmm.
All the way up them.
Wait a minute, that's a problem?
A few minutes ago, we were talking about evolution, and we were talking about like
the fisting of Kermit.
So it's always nice to know we can have these high-level intellectual conversations here, isn't it? So yeah.
Well, I think it's evidence.
I want to bring it back to where we were originally. The puppeteers use
Kermit
peanut butter as lubricant.
Ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and without, Jen bringing up the conversation.
I was going to ask you, Bob. How'd you get on with my new BFF earlier? I only caught the tail end of that.
We had a pretty decent conversation. I feel like there was a little bit of friction, but I mean, I opened up with I'm an anti-theist, so
yeah.
Did you ever talk with Discount Dr. Evil? Did you?
Yeah, he's on Dr. Evil's channel.
Oh, you're on Dr. Evil's channel. Wow.
Who's Dr. Evil?
That's,
Other than
That's what we call him, because he looks like Dr. Evil.
I'm sorry, I have to ask.
Who is it? Diesel. What else does he call himself?
Isaiah.
Isaiah, yeah.
RHE podcast. He's a Christian guy. He's all right. He can be a bit of a troll, but then to be fair, we did troll the hell out of him back actually that time Matt went on his stream. So
yeah, he's the guy who said, I can't be homophobic. I lent some money to a gay person.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
I can't be homophobic. I suck the cock of a gay person.
You said
Yeah,
you
he's
can't be homophobic. You suck who? What?
I sucked the cock of a gay person.
Oh well, okay. Yeah, that doesn't mean you're well, okay.
Well, you could still be homophobic and have that happen. It's just that sucking the cock wouldn't have been a choice that you made.
it's a hate suck.
Yeah, you could have
No, I loved it too much.
Now, come on, stop it.
Wait, what? You
You're
mean
making me jealous.
homophobic doesn't mean being afraid of having a place to live?
Oh, you're getting worse, Pep.
Mhm.
We love you though.
I've
Do
been
you have
having.
any idea how little sleep I've gotten since Sloth Girl wound up in the hospital?
Aw.
I've had that happen too, Beck. That and getting called transphobic. And I've also been told
What?
I was intersex phobic, which was hilarious.
Wait, please explain. Please elaborate on those.
It's always fun when a trans person is called transphobic, unless you're Blair White, and then it's well deserved.
Mhm.
Well, there are definitely
I
trans
want-
people who are self-hating, and you can have
Yeah.
have people
Yeah.
who are in a demographic who are hateful of that demographic. That is true,
Yeah,
but I am not any of those things. But I got called intersex phobic as
Absolutely.
well by somebody.
I mean, Blair White's on the side that, oh well, if you're not the right kind of trans, then you're not trans.
Well, not so much
Mhm.
intersex phobic. I got called. It wasn't intersex phobic. They called me. What's the other term that they like to use instead of intersex?
Trap.
Hermaphrodite.
Sorry, no. The other one that some of the medical associations in America are trying to adopt as the new
I don't
term,
know.
and I can't remember what it's fucking called now because I don't particularly like it.
Mage, look it up.
DSDs, disorders of sexual development. Now,
Oh,
I don't like that term because I don't consider being intersex a disorder. So you can fuck off with
Yeah,
that
that
term.
sounds good.
But there are people who prefer that term over intersex because there are some conditions that fall under the spectrum that would normally be called intersex that technically aren't really the same connotation as being intersex because it really doesn't affect how your sex is presented at all. So this is why they came up with the term DSD. And people complain because they put disorder, and then they say, okay, but the D now stands for differences. And to me, I say, fuck off, because people already think it stands for disorder. You need an entirely different term that isn't attached to that originally fucked up one if you want a new term as an umbrella term, as far as I'm concerned.
Like them trying to rename monkeypox to mpox.
Oh, yeah.
That was
It's
somehow
just,
an improvement.
you just can't do that bullshit. But I got called DSD phobic by... which I don't like the word, but by somebody because I was promoting Intersex Awareness Day.
What?
How?
Yeah, because they didn't like the term intersex, and because I was promoting Intersex Awareness Day, I was obviously DSD phobic.
Oh well, fuck them.
Yeah,
and you should bring our group's attention to that day and that awareness thing.
It's not till later in the year, Jane.
Yeah, but I know, but I think we should all take part in that and help you broadcast that.
Perps, you did an Intersex Awareness Day stream last year, didn't you, Perps? So
I was going to say the one thing I've been called on Twitter is is an undercover Christian, but I can't even hold that over Jen because Jen was in the same bloody thread and called the same thing.
That was hilarious, that.
Yeah.
Monty Pox, I like it.
Monty
Poxthon, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So
I ran into this
I think we should call it MAGA-pox.
MAGA-pox.
See, I wanted COVID-19 to be named Covfefe-19 when it first started. Just put it right on Trump.
Just to harass Trump.
Yep. Absolutely.
Anything to harass the Trump.
Yep. Absolutely.
Now
Oh,
you
wait,
said
I'm-
Kafifi.
we're
Did you
not
see
supposed-
that? Randy Rainbow won a music award.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I can't remember which one
Shit.
now. Yeah,
Well deserved. I
um,
mean,
yeah, and as part of it, did a song on stage with who did he record that song with? He's from Patti LuPone. Yeah, he did one of his songs with Patti LuPone that was about Trump during the election, and he did it on stage with Patti LuPone at this award ceremony. So I think that's awesome because I think Randy Rainbow is fucking amazing.
I've been waiting for him to get some
Who you're talking about.
mainstream coverage.
He has been now. He's been on the chat shows and all that because of winning this award. So I think it's brilliant.
The right wingers really, really, really hate him.
Oh, they hate him. They fucking hate him.
First of all, he's so funny. He's so good, and so prolific, and
he's so openly
feminine.
gay.
He's so totally gay.
But he's not just one of those gay people who I'm totally gay, supportive of gay, but everybody else LGBT can fuck off. He is pro everything LGBT, and he sticks one up the conservatives every single chance he can get. He is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, he's made a few.
I don't know who
verbal
this person
faux
is.
pas, but it's nothing. It's not a big deal. It's just shit happens. You say something stupid.
Oh yeah. I mean, we all do it.
Yep. We certainly do.
I have no clue who you're talking about.
You'll have to look him up. Randy Rainbow
on YouTube.
On YouTube.
2:30 in the morning where I'm at. I really need to get to sleep. So thanks
Yeah,
for having
we've
me on,
been-
Perp. Good to talk to everybody else.
Happy Mouse, Bob.
You have anything
Yeah,
you want to
Bob.
plug before you go?
Yeah,
I know
good
you
to
put
see you,
on your
Bob.
video.
Yeah, I put up a video earlier today. It premiered without me because I needed money and I had to do DoorDash. So I put up 9 Reasons Atheists Are Atheists video by World Religions. And the list goes about as you would expect it to, coming from a religious person. Who clearly-
You're an atheist because you hate God.
Yeah, obviously because I hate God. I mean, have you met the prick?
I just can't believe how they
how can you?
let his
I
son
hate
die
the
on a
concept
tree.
of God, but you can't really hate something you don't believe in.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I like to point to Joffrey or Darth Vader for hating fictional characters.
Yeah, I guess.
How could anyone hate Darth Vader? He's so fucking cool.
Okay, Jenny was
All
trying
praise
to
the
get
mighty Sith.
No, don't worry about it.
But yeah, check out my video. I'm sure I'll check up on the analytics when I wake up, or probably.
I might go have a watch of that in a minute because it almost sounds like the kind of video I wouldn't mind responding to as well. So
yeah,
yeah,
like it's not often that I'm actively annoyed when I'm making a video, but this is one of those times. I started out annoyed by other things going on, but when I started recording and reading the shit, I just got progressively more annoyed.
So I might have a look. So I might have a look at that. I might even be like a little live thing I respond to today. But it was either that or I was going to weigh in on like this big thing with Logan Paul's cryptocurrency scam that seems to have gone viral.
I don't get
last couple of
cryptocurrency.
days.
It's such an obvious scam. It's like NFTs. It's such an obvious scam.
Yeah, well,
How are people falling
that
for
was
it?
more what he was doing was an NFT, and it's
Well, it's not a
But he
scam
got-
if you're one of the early adopters of crypto. Then you're making all kinds of money. It's a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah.
Yeah, but even
He,
then, you had to wait years. I mean, Jesus.
There was a
It's the
YouTuber who
modern
did a
M
big
way.
Yeah, it was a YouTuber who did a big 3-part series investigating into this crypto zoo scam that Logan Paul was getting behind. And it's like, let's just put it this way: Logan Paul's response to it, any like goodwill or building back up of his reputation that he might have possibly got, he's just thrown out the fucking window with this response.
After the whole suicide victim on his video thing, like
Yeah.
there's no way Logan Paul can ever get back any credibility.
No, it was somehow he managed to convince of quite a few people that he was a changed man after all that. But any goodwill he might have won back, he totally lost it with this response.
Yeah. It sounds like a longer conversation. Aren't we wrapping up?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hopping off, definitely.
Yeah.
So take it easy, everybody. Thanks for having me on again. And thanks
anytime.
for putting up with me, everybody.
Hi, Bob.
Be good, Bob.
Hey,
Say
Bob.
hi to Alex for me.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, Jeff, what about you? What you got going on?
Well, like I said, I think I already plugged what I was looking at doing, but I might be taking a look at that video that Bub's done. I think in a minute, because this sounds like the kind of video I wouldn't mind responding to. So that might possibly take place a little later today if it's so.
Well, what's not to love about somebody else telling you what you think?
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that all politicians?
Yeah, that does seem to be their job.
To be honest, this would be like the second bunch of Christians in a week who've told us that we hate God, because Greg Locke was tweeting about it the other day. So
Greg Locke the other day, that was like what?
I would like to get him in a room to interview him, and him tied to a chair so he can't get up and do his theatrics, and just really grill the fuck out of him.
He might enjoy that.
I think he would crack.
So Jenny's going to do a hallelujah and tie him to a kitchen chair.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
I want to be tied up to a chair.
Get a big dildo and butt fuck him.
I wouldn't mind being even tied up to a chair.
Well,
Jesus, please protect me from your ardent followers.
Jenny, I wouldn't have pegged him for that.
Good pun.
Really now?
Oh.
Hey, Perps didn't say it. I had to say it.
Oh man.
Well, how about you, Jen? You haven't been around much. You got anything happening?
I haven't, but I've started being around more lately, and that's going to continue.
That's good.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things in the works. I've got a song that I might be doing with Navadia and Claire, which I've still got to finish writing it, but to put that together, and hopefully I'll have something out in the next week. But
Jen, what is your prime time for being here or doing whatever you're going to do with us in the group and stuff? What is your prime time?
It really does. If I don't, this is a great time for me.
Hold on.
Sorry.
What is your prime time in Eastern Standard Time numbers?
For you, early morning for you in Eastern Standard Time, because probably evenings are better for me. So anything from about 6 p.m. my time, which would be like 5 a.m. your time, through to about 10 p.m. my time, which is 9 yours, would be prime for me. But depending on how busy I am, daytimes can work too for me, which is like this sort of like doing perps. As long as I'm home, I can do them on Fridays. So that works for me as long as I'm home. But I haven't been home a lot the last month. So, but I've been home. I was home today. I actually completely forgot perps was streaming because I forgot what day it was. Otherwise, I would have been here from the beginning because I knew I was home. Aside from that,
we're actually starting Thursday night, which is like Friday noon for you.
I'm doing end of January. I will be on. I'm doing one of the medical streams with Ben,
Dr. Ben.
So, yeah, with Dr. Ben.
The medical myths.
Yeah, medical maths ones, and that's a Sunday morning for me, and be Saturday evening for you guys. So I can do that sort of thing. So yeah, I can fit in around people. It's just my time difference. I'm like during your winter, I'm 13 hours ahead of you guys on the East Coast, so that's where it gets difficult figuring that out. But
well, what's
it's
your
all right.
local time right now?
It is 3:45 p.m. in the afternoon.
Friday.
Yeah.
6:45 here.
Yeah, that's 6:45.
Yeah,
Are you one of those 15-minute time zones?
No.
It's
No.
it's 3:30.
No, it's 1:45 here.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm looking at the timer.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
so,
I get.
so I
45
had it
here.
right. Jen's 14 hours ahead of us.
13.
Boy, I was looking at the timer.
Oh yeah, 14. I'm 14 ahead of you. And Andrew at the moment, because Andrew's got daylight savings, is 3 hours ahead of me. But normally Andrew would only be 2 hours ahead of me.
Because
we
do
don't
you
get
not have daylight savings?
anyway.
Oh, you lucky fucks.
Yeah, I hate daylight savings. I really do.
Yeah, well, we're under daylight savings now too.
I'm like, why do we need daylight savings in Australia? By 5 o'clock in the morning, the sun is up. It is still light outside till nearly 10 p.m. here. We don't need daylight savings.
I don't see really any use for it, really.
I think we're here last year. We're getting daylight savings.
Oh, good. Good for you, Judy.
No, unfortunately, it almost happened that there had been a thing in Congress to abolish it, and the Republicans managed to kill that.
Why?
It doesn't help anyone.
Because they're the party of no. That's why.
So the worst thing in Australia is because even on our eastern seaboards, not every state has daylight savings. So like they don't do daylight savings in Queensland for similar reasons why WA doesn't. And that means that all of a sudden over summer, different states which would effectively be in the same time zone are now no longer in the same time zone because of daylight saving. It's just a pain in the ass in Australia.
Yeah, well, when I was living in Michigan, when we went to daylight savings time, the state of Michigan was not observing daylight savings time, except for the 5 counties that border Wisconsin.
Jeez, that makes it complicated.
Meant if I drove to the next county, it was a different time zone.
And then you have things like mountain time and
well,
your time
it really
zones
fucked
are
up
annoying.
everything with the doctor's appointments because the hospital was in the next time zone.
And then you don't always aware of who's exactly observing what time zone. Yeah, it's frustrating. I hate it.
I missed, I screwed up the times for so many doctors and therapy appointments because of that.
Yeah. Anyway, you should move on to the next person.
Yeah, well, Mage, did you have anything coming up?
I'm still leaning towards maybe doing the Q&A video for next Tuesday. And as far as I know, I still have that thing on for Neil and the 604 Atheist on my deconversion story.
Yep.
Oh,
that's Monday night?
Saturday. On the 7th.
Saturday, okay.
This Saturday?
Yep. It'll be, let's see, it's 5 p.m. PST, so I believe that's 8 p.m. Eastern. So that's pretty much what I got going.
Okay, Junie, you have anything happening?
I'm still kind of in the works of like deciding what I want to do. But hopefully able to, put something out before the end of the month.
Okay. Jenny, you making any appearances scheduled soon?
Well, I'm not so sure if it'll end up in an appearance, but I'm starting a new program. It's kind of a maybe a deal maker. I hope it's not a deal breaker. You take me out on a date, I promise I'll fuck you.
Where do I
It's
apply?
the desperate shag dating technique.
Where do I apply?
Just come on over and ring the doorbell.
Okay.
We got a McDonald's just down the street. 20 minutes later, we're parking.
I'm more expensive than that.
Hey, you're getting free sex out of it. You got.
Well, yeah.
I can get free sex.
Well, see, for me with the autism, I'm actually a bit uncomfortable dining out in public. So can we just skip the date and go home and have sex?
No, I want a payoff. I want free dinner.
You need the foreplay.
Okay, so Clara.
Okay, we take a more expensive restaurant, but I pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we do it in America.
Okay. Apparently, my plug is that I will be having sex with Jenny. No. I have the TMI show on Thursdays, 8 p.m. my time, which I think is 1 p.m. For Purple. And then I'm occasionally on Slim Living Cyborg streams and occasionally on Pie Parrot. Like I'm taking a little bit of a break, so I'm cutting down on those for a bit with them, but I'm still on the TMI show, and I will be back on that one too. But yeah, the one I'm the most on is TMI.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I lost it when I read that.
Beck, that's true, but it fades in the winter.
I've got this image of Jenny running up and down the street going, I've got a golden pussy.
Okay, Claire.
And then the little munchkins behind her.
Okay, Clara, when you're having sex with Jenny, I mean, I know you can't live stream that on YouTube, so is that going to be on Twitch then?
OnlyFans.
Well,
Twitch, OnlyFans, YouTube, Pornhub, everywhere.
You can put that on Twitter too.
Fox News. We'll get it on Fox News too.
Oh, they might care because I mean, Elon won't want to see that.
Okay.
It'll remind him too much of his ex.
Okay, Andrew, do you have any last words?
That sounds nice, Purple.
Do you have anyone to plug them in anything?
Oh, okay. Well, all right.
Lost for words.
Well,
TMI.
I'll be back here next week, Wednesday at noon, Thursday at 10 p.m. U.S. Central. So, would like to thank my supporters. My newest supporter is Southern Sal.
That'd be two.
Crasher, Kitty the Atheist, Robert X, Lavender Lady, Greg Hartwick, and Vonrek. Appreciate y'all helping me keep things going here.
Wouldn't that be 2 a.m. Thursday Australian time? Never mind.
Yeah, I think that's about right. What part of Australia?
Stop it, Beck. I've already got tears in my eyes.
Okay, well, with that, we will bid you all a good night, or good morning, or good afternoon, or whatever it is, wherever you are.
Bye.